Morning, everyone. I've just watched Bear's update on what the sentencing is, and it just shows that all them bastards stick together. They all fucking look out for each other, and I think that's a bullshit fucking sentence. I'm quite honest. Yeah, I'll post it now, Bear. I bet they give him a bullshit charge to fucking start with. Literally. And I think we all know the police fucking stick together and look after their own. I think that just fucking proves it. To give them some fucking stupid ass community sentence. Yeah.
What's going on, you right?
Oh well.
It'll only be a quick one because I'm out and my battery's low.
Yeah, I've just seen your thing and fucking that's just utter bullshit.
Yeah, I don't think I expected much less though, to be honest. Like, that's kind of what I expected, as much as that's not good enough. He was never going to get jail. Me or you probably wouldn't even get prison for a common assault, to be honest. And I get it was towards a minor, but in the sense of the way that the court hearing's gone on, it's not like it's been treated that way. It's just been treated as your average common assault charge. Do you understand? So therefore, they just go through all the mandatory procedures of a normal common assault. Now, at one point there, did they really think, oh, because this was towards a minor, we should treat this a bit more seriously? And
Yeah.
I think the sentence shows that. I think what we'll have to wait and see now is what happens regarding being dismissed from the force, retiring, whether he keeps a pension. We all know that will still be the
how much he actually gets thrown at him with that, because he likes a number of things he done wrong, I think, in that video. Starting with failing to identify. Will he lose his job, or will the corruption force promote him? I bet they'll give him like fucking early retirement with fucking pay as well.
Just be given the option to retire. That's what it would be. And then obviously when it comes
no mark on his record either.
Well, I don't know how it works because, right, now there's been a guilty charge and there's the sentencing, right? What I would now wonder is, now that whole proceeding has taken place, whether the IOPC now start their own investigation, or whether they can basically not maybe even start. They probably did start it, but I mean, in the sense of pursue it. Because there's going to have to be a disciplinary down the line. If you've gone to court, and there's got to be some form of disciplinary, right? And that disciplinary is going to then lead to whether or not he stays in the force, whether he's made to retire, and all those kind of things. So it's not over yet because you've still got the disciplinary hearing to come yet.
I still think, I forgot what I was going to say now. Talking to the kids. Yeah, I still think AW should see civil. See if we can do civil as well.
Yeah, well, there's quite a few years on that from when something happens. I'm not going to give you a specific fucking length because I don't know what it is, but I want to say it's in the region of 6 years, 7 years, something like that. Around that mark. that you've got that time to put in a civil claim.
I think now he's been found guilty there, even if it was just common assault. I think
If I was
that's
AW,
yeah.
sorry, Marie, what I would be doing is I would probably be, I don't know how far away he is from 18 now, or whether he is 18. But the moment he hits 18, I would then pursue that civilly, yeah.
I agree, so.
That's what I would do. But I would wait until he was 18 to do that, because clearly, it's not for my place to speak about his business, but I know through speaking to him over these last 2 years that it's not been as simple as if me or you wanted to go do a civil claim because of his age.
And
So
other
the minute I turned
circumstances
18,
as well, yeah.
yeah, so the minute he turned 18, bang, I'd be in there putting that claim in. I'd be straight on. The fact yeah, that's what I'd be doing anyway.
I think he, yeah, should definitely be looking towards that way, possibly.
And yeah, to be honest, I'd be suing for more than, with the evidence that stands now, I'd be suing for more than just the what Dean Ghettos was guilty of as well. In my eyes, there were also other colleagues that stood there and watched it happen. Their job isn't to intervene when they see one of their own breaking the law. That's still within their policy. Do you know what I mean? Within their policy to do that.
Yeah,
So nobody stepped in. So everyone in there, that lawsuit should be massive, to be fair. The fact that they all laughed, you can hear them laughing in the background. Not only did they not help, but they were all heard laughing. Come on, man.
Yeah, everyone that come into contact with AW and that should be held accountable in some way or another.
All of them. All of them should be up for a disciplinary. Anyone that was on duty that day and that was in that station, which they'll know because they'll have their own cameras from that station. Yeah, they'll have their own cameras in that custody suite. They know they'll be able to pinpoint exactly who was working that day and all the rest of it. And every single one of them, yes, that was in that room, anyone that witnessed anything that day in that station, they should all be held accountable. Every single one of them should be on at least a disciplinary.
Do you think if AW hasn't been given copies before, he'd be able to get copies now?
Yeah, well, yeah, you can still request copies. Yeah, you can get copies. Fuck me, BBC have got a copy. I'm sure he can get a copy. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. BBC have got it and released it. So, yeah, of course.
I don't know, with his age, I just don't know what information they've handed to him with them still classing him as a minor. So I'm thinking
he should be able to get, he should still, with his age, at least 17, which I know he is, he should be able to get all that stuff, yeah. Even that freedom of information request I read out the other day, that was from somebody else that had got it. So if any normal member of the public can go and request that information, then yeah, definitely the victim can.
Just another case where it just shows that an absolute fucking joke.
Yeah. Me personally, I was watching, now fair play to him, big up to him, big massive respect to Rightful Recordings, the only one that was there today outside the court. But I see him go, I was there thinking, fucking chase after him, man. Go up to him and ask him some questions. I would have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, you can't carry on following him, but I'd at least have gone and run up, quickly asked him a question, see what his reaction was, see if he still had that aggressive manner, or has it humbled him a little bit being taken to court?
AW has the protection and rights under GDPR. I've got to say this, where was his right when fucking that twat was laying hands on him without fucking identifying him and doing everything he was doing to him? Like, no one gave a shit about AW's rights in that, with everyone laughing and, you know, not stepping in.
It's the way it is, isn't it? It's the way it is. Like I said, I don't really expect anything less.
I think if anything, it just shows one more case where it's even more important to fucking film the police.
I think it also shows, where we were talking about this the other day, because he's an inspector, right? He's never really going to get what you wanted him to get, what I wanted to see him get, what probably everyone in this community would have liked to have seen him get.
Yeah.
And that's because he's an inspector. As for, I feel like it needs to be the other way around. Something there within the law needs to change. The mentality needs to change, where actually, if you're an inspector, if you're a police officer, but certainly if you're an inspector, and the higher up you are, and so on, yeah, the more to account you should be held because of the
Because
position
you should be
you are
an
holding.
example to the people who are like PCs and who are in positions, I hate to say lower than yours, but you know what I mean?
You see it every day of the week.
Different rankings.
You see it every day of the week, up and down the country, every magistrate's court, yeah? They constantly make examples of people. They do that for a reason, to try and deter people from doing the same shit. So why is it they're not doing the same thing with our police force, when there clearly is enough evidence there from the amount of misconduct hearings that comes out, and not just misconduct hearings, but how many of those misconduct hearings lead to happen to be a criminal case as well against them? And there's loads. So why is that the case? This is what I mean. Something needs to change there. Something needs to change, and they need to be held to example. They need to be, shown an example of. So the next inspector or the next copper doesn't think, oh, I'm only going to get a slap on the wrist. It's not really going to matter.
Yeah. Shit rolls down their statute of limitations. That's why on the street they murder people. It's just one utter shit show. Every aspect you look at, it's one utter shit show.
I would say there should also be, regardless of what the sentence was, right? There should really be a little bit of warning to police up and down the country, and all other government buildings as well, really, that not at one point has the court or anybody else, apart from maybe the defence, right, has anyone tried to dispute the auditing is somewhat a nuisance or anything like that. No one's done that. It doesn't state that at any point. It only ever states the fact, like I say, you go back to that freedom of information request. Again, it all comes back there, pretty much what is stated in the memo.
Yeah.
The court recognises that no one's doing anything wrong. It's all above the law. So these courts are realising it. So these police, really, they've got to start opening their eyes and realising, actually, we're not winning here, because they're not.
If anything,
so there is a good thing to come from this.
Auditing shows how much does actually go on and how much has previously gone on, or possibly gone on, but that's gone unnoticed or that's gone covered up.
Yeah.
It only adds more questions to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like with ghettos, if he can do that once, how many other times has he done that before and got away with it, and everyone else has like covered up for him because he's the inspector?
Yeah. Oh, nice. Don't know, man. Something needs to change there. Definitely, and I stick by that. That's definitely something. There needs to be some reform there, where, as I say, these people need to be looked at as like, you're in a certain position. If you go and break the law, certainly on duty as well. We're not talking about once they've taken their uniform off and they go home, yeah, and they become another civilian, so to speak, right? We're not talking about them. We're talking about when people are in their uniform, right? When people are acting in the line of duty and they decide to go and break the law, they should definitely be held to some fucking superior fucking account because of the position they hold. It's almost like you think that because it just blows my mind. It blows my fucking mind, and it needs to change. And this is why I say that's why all these auditors, that's why people that kind of report on the corruption within the police, they're never going to be short of content, are they? Because I
No.
don't see I don't see these police all fucking turning squeaky clean anytime soon.
I think the change needs to come at the beginning when, you know, police need to train longer and harder and actually fucking know them laws off by heart before they're even given that ability to be put on the streets to enforce the laws. How can you enforce something when you haven't got a fucking Scooby-Doo what the art to start with?
Your rights are really simple. Your rights are really simple. I would turn around and say, more learn what is against the law than learn your rights. Just learn what's against the law. As long as you're familiar with what's against the law, the rest is your rights. In my eyes, as long as you're not breaking the law, then you're not breaking the law. So therefore, it's within the law. So, it's like I say, if you can work out what's against the law and you know what's against the law, then everything else is fair play, man, and that is your rights. It's the easiest way to look at it.
I think half of these laws need to be fucking reformed in themselves, though, because half of them are so outdated. Like, they need to be put into place for now, not fucking way back when. You know, get rid of all the stupid ones. And just have ones that are actually fucking relevant.
Yeah, that's never gonna happen. They make too money every year now. And I wonder what statistics we could find for that, right? For the money they make just through enforcing their own legislation every year, whether it be through fines and all the other things. I hate to think what that number is. Fucking ridiculous. I can imagine.
Do you think police get a bonus for so many arrests? And aren't they supposed to have targets each week for so many arrests and stuff? Maybe his battery died. Oh, shit. Hey, hello everyone that's coming, by the way. Should watch and people being oppressed, being sent to prison for nothing. Prisons have electric floors. The fuck? I just think it's an absolute joke. It just raises even more questions. It raises even more fucking cover-ups and thinking back to that video, you know, when that was put up, you know, I was so angry watching that someone could do that to a kid. And not to mention the fact that I knew and spoke to that kid. He's probably got more fucking sense than all of these busies put together, quite honestly. And fucking knows more of the laws that they should and put that uniform on to fucking enforce. God, have special shoes. That's nasty, that, Leo. That's nasty. If anyone hasn't seen Bears, it was his laugh just earlier, and I've linked that into the obstacle key as well in the description. Along with the laugh that highlighted the sentencing as well. Corrupt police, that was a joke with ghettos. Yeah, that wasn't a sentence in the slightest. Not whatsoever. He took the fact, you know, he was pissed off to start with because he'd been up all night with his dog who'd been ill. Then he come out with an attitude when AW was actually leaving. You know, it wasn't like he was going there and doing the audit. He was actually on his way out from the audit. And he didn't identify himself. He had that attitude in his voice of being pissed off. And then he come out the gate and just like laid hands on AW. Read my comments earlier. Hold on, AJ, let me just scroll back up. I'm not sure if this is the comment you mean, AJ, but that's the one I'm looking at. If that was one of us, we would be looking at a prison sentence. Definitely shows the police get away with murder. Well, what if it was the shoe on the opposite foot? What if it was one of us assaulting a police officer? Definitely be sent down then, wouldn't you? Wouldn't be common assault then, because you'd be assaulting an off-duty police officer. It's a fucking joke. Oh, an absolute joke. Yeah, that's hard to find those answers, even though police force might, you know, for example. Yeah, anything to avoid taxes and VAT, King, probably. It is a disgrace, public eye. Well, that's not my update. It was like bad on it, but yeah, AW wasn't even formally arrested. Yet Robert gave him a time of arrest on the video. Yeah, he didn't even have his rights right. I'll get my words out properly. His rights read out to him. He didn't have, well, not from what I heard anyway. He didn't have, you know, even identification to know that he was an inspector to start with. I think even with people that are not police, they do fucking get away with shit as well, you know. But then that falls with probably, you know, it's probably like a fucking lucky dip who they choose, which cases they choose to take forward just purely on the basis that can they secure a conviction from it? Well, it shouldn't be based on that. It should be like based on, you know, the evidence and whether the person actually done it and put it to, that's the purpose of court, to, you know, put forward both sides. Shouldn't be pick and choose which fucking cases get taken there. Yeah, I think that King as well. I'm of that opinion too. Because he didn't identify, he didn't formally get arrested, he didn't anything. He basically got grabbed and fucking taken into that station. And had he not been actually recording, what could have happened worse than that? The only good thing is that his camera kept recording and got everything Ghetto said after that. A lot of police are being caught now. I think the reform needs to start from where they actually get into police, you know, because the training is fucking minuscule. If you've got to train years to be a lawyer and learn the laws, why can it not be the same amount of time to actually get in the police. And we might actually have ones that know what they're fucking doing. And know the laws that they're there to uphold anyway. I can't answer that for definitely, but if I was in that position, I would seriously be looking at a civil case and looking for solicitors that would be willing to take that on, because he has been found guilty. That's probably the only good bullshit charge, but he did get found guilty. So I can only assume that works in AW's favour. Hey, godson. Right, let me address this right now, going off topic. I have no idea what the fuck you've been saying. I just seen that people are saying that you said things in lives, putting videos up, and you just need to fucking pack it in, no more lies, or fuck off. And you don't even need to come in here and start with them bullshit comments. Like, everyone just needs to leave the shit alone. It can take 19 times longer to be a joiner than a police officer. It just goes to show, yeah. Just crap, innit? Absolutely crap. And that's, yeah, it's fucking, as a parent, I'd be fuming. I literally would be fuming with that sentence as well. I was going to go into a rant mode or something else then, but... Hello, Grim.
Oh, yeah. How are you doing?
All right, yeah.
So it's it's afternoon now.
Well, it's only 4 minutes past.
Yeah. Hey, it's nice to actually talk to someone during the day.
Are you not at work today?
No, I'm officially on holiday. I return on the 5th.
Oh, lucky you.
Just to blow the book as well. No, I can't do that. Can I? Damn, it's already been tried. I'll have to think of something original. Yeah, I've just been catching up on everything, and like community service is something which I thought he was going to get. They could have at least put a couple of thousand hours to be done in a 12-month period, but what do you expect? They'll always cover up. They gave him a trumped up charge, which he's been found guilty of, and they're giving him a very lenient sentence because he's a copper. End of.
Yeah, I think they've given the lowest charge that they can give him, and even if he found guilty, he can still keep his pension and all that crap.
Yeah. What's the bet? I don't know. Is he still in the force, or is he officially retired yet?
I'm betting that's going to be an option on the table, isn't it, for early retirement?
Yeah, I think he'll be retired and
with a pension packet.
Yeah, because then when the complaints authority turns around and says, "Yes, we uphold the case, and if he had been in the force, we'd have sacked him." But I was listening to what you said earlier about the police need to understand legislation or law. It'd be nice if they just understood what it meant. That's the way
Yeah.
I see it. They're there to enforce, not regulations. They're there to enforce the law, and that's it.
I was just looking
The
at
trouble
Leo's
is,
comments, and yeah, I was thinking about that, the mental impact and effect it's going to have going forward. They haven't took that into consideration.
no, but hopefully, as Bear pointed out, when he turns 18, he'll be able to take them down the civil route. Um, but that doesn't equate to the damage which is done, the PTSD,
Yeah,
etc., for what happened during a lawful activity.
yeah,
At the end of the day, I mean, he wasn't breaking any laws or anything like that. A couple of days ago, there was Bear did a live around what the police have been told in the past and what they're supposed to do. And it's quite obvious that not everybody interpreted that memo correctly or just chose to ignore it if they did receive it.
I bet they didn't even read it. Probably just
Well,
shoved in the corner somewhere.
it was probably sent via email to everybody, and as we all know, any corporate emails that are sent out, we tend to ignore
Yeah,
unless it's directly aimed at us as individually. So anybody who's working, certainly where there's emails being passed around with latest information, etc., unless it affects you, you don't pay any attention to it. you know um Unfortunately, that's probably what will happen for time to come. But I mean, anybody who picks up a camera, whether that be a phone or whatever, and goes out filming, takes photographs, watches the police from afar when something's happening, they shouldn't be impeded. We know that, but they do. Now, Bear said, know what you can't do. Uh, with respect, Bear, I actually disagree. I think you should know what your rights are so that you're able to stay within the law. You know,
I think rights and everything. You need to know what they are because
yeah,
everything, the way it looks now, they want to take everything away from you. So I
yes,
keep saying you don't know. You can't complain about what you've lost if you didn't know what you had to start with.
yep, yep. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I'm a supporter of that. We should have something similar to what the Americans have with the Constitution. We should have that
Yeah,
written in stone so we know exactly what our rights are because it's so vague. Um, I mean, you can't even talk to the police in a loud voice in case you upset a potential passerby in the middle of a field. What were your second? The doors just gone.
yeah,
I'll be back
right.
in a minute.
See, I keep hearing people say about um, the Magna Carta, and that's always been something I want to go back and look into, and and see how it's changed from then till now. Even if people just like look up, your human rights and everything, and I still, I kind of still think the biggest contradiction I've probably said is in a conversation with Joe Cool, and I'm like, who is anyone to tell anyone else what their rights are? But I think it still
Yeah,
needs to be written
I'm back.
properly. Oh yeah,
Yeah. You were talking about the Magna Carta. The Magna
yeah. I
Carta is
remember
written.
being sent a video ages ago, and the lady in the video was talking about rights and the Magna Carta and things, and it's always been something I wanted to go back and look at, and see how that compares to now.
Um, well, the Magna Carta wasn't set up for the peasants. The Magna Carta was set up for the lords and the barons, the peasants had no rights, even in the Magna Carta. But everything that was in the Magna Carta, apart from 4 things, have now been written into acts and statutes. And technically, the Magna Carta exists, but only in acts and statutes. But more importantly on that one, I've got a question to ask. How can we have so many prime ministers elected into power by a minority without it going out to the public to vote on? Whether they still want that particular.
I think they found a loophole where they don't have to give the people the option to vote.
Yeah, I
you know, if you resign, then we don't have to put it to a vote. We can just put who we want there. It's not that they do it anyway, even probably with a vote, put who they want there. But
but I mean, we've had 2 prime ministers in 50 odd days, all right? And this latest one was put in due to default because nobody stood.
Yeah.
Now, if that wasn't a put-up job, I'd like to know what is, because you had various people throwing their names around and saying, "Yeah, I'll stand," then withdrawing, just so that we can have a different flavour of prime minister or leader of the Tories. Rather than prime minister, but by default, he's now in the chair, and he's going to be the latest fall guy.
See, I have to wonder: are we just trying to be a bit too much like America with the first black president, and now it's the first non-white prime minister?
First Asian of descent, yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. The youngest prime minister as well. He beat Cameron by a few days or something like that, a few weeks, maybe a year. But it's all firsts, isn't it, at the moment? But we don't know what I think that, personally speaking, I think we need to arm ourselves with what our rights are.
Yeah, I think too many people concentrate on the face, face to do this, face to do that. Why can't it be concentrating sometimes? I'm not saying all the time, but why can't it be like, oh, that's the last time that'll ever happen? We'll put measures in place and that will never happen again. You never hear that. You're just always the face of this and face of that.
Yes, yeah. Well, I think the first I heard of the first of this and that was when Boris turned around and said, "Well, nobody told me what the rules were," and that was his defence on breaking COVID rules, even though he put them into place.
He's a fucking. I'm going to say it. He's just a fucking knob jockey. He should never have been prime minister to start with.
Well, he was elected in, and that did go to a general election. But whoever you vote for, folks, just remember one thing: it is your right to vote, and I advise anybody, if you so wish to vote, go and vote. It is your choice, but just remember one thing: the government always gets in. All you're doing is voting for what flavour. That's all. And police constables no longer stand up for people's rights. They stand up for the corporations, which includes prime ministers and governments. Because if you have ever noticed, out of all the audits, if you're on private property, they will always side with the corporation that calls them. Always.
Yeah.
And if you're not on private property and somebody calls the police and you're on public property, then they try and do you for things like obstruction of the pavement.
Trump up charges on you.
Yeah, which is technically a legal thing, but other than that, no.
I was just going to say to AJ with the thing, there's a lot of police still refusing to identify. Had it 3 times to an audit. And if you'd have the only thing I could think of to that is if you'd have the section with you where it says about them identifying to start with, and then they say, oh, it's not in that policy or whatever, then you can just say, oh, yes, it is, and here's the proof.
Yeah.
And from watching some videos back, trying to sift through things, I think is it not still 3 forms of identity?
Yes, they're supposed to confirm, show you the warrant card, confirm their ID number and what station they're from, off the top of my head. I could be wrong, and somebody will hopefully correct me if I am. But I know there's a couple of people who are looking to come up and join you, Anne-Marie, looking at the chat.
Oh, people want to come on panel?
Yeah. Yeah,
I think Kim's just wanting the link for channels.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry, I thought it was a link to come up.
I will put the link back in chat though if anyone else does want to jump on.
But at the moment, I think the one thing this is re-highlighted with AW is the fact that all copies are what's that word I'm thinking of begins with a B?
Bastards.
That's the one. I knew something. Yeah, they are, and it
just say it, Greg. You don't need to just say it.
You know me, I'm very polite. Always have been, always will be.
Bullshit. There's another B for you.
No, I'm not kept like a mushroom and fed tight. Kept in the dark. That's only in work. No, seriously. I think it's a very good topic, but I don't think we should be. We need to look at how we can move forward, and the auditors need to brush up on all of the knowledge. You're right. I think it'd be handy if we could quote the.
Well, yeah, just as I'd say, police need to look up and be taught the amendments. I think auditors need to check if there's been any amendments to certain sections as well.
Yeah, because, well, at the moment, I think the big thing is around drones, because they're starting to become popular, and the police are starting to question certain aspects. And I know that a lot of people who use drones are very versed in the regulations by the Civil Aviation Authority. Maybe we need to ensure that we know chapter and verse and be able to quote, as you say, policies within, because it may be that different forces have different rules. So again, it's worthwhile double checking.
The bit that sticks out for me with the drones is I think it might be DJ audits. I can't be sure though, but someone asked that, they was having a conversation about the drones and stuff, and the question was asked, did the police notify others on the app thing that they have to, when they're putting a drone up, and the police fella saying no, not always. So that just leads into other things. The police could be putting the drones up and filming anything that they want and abusing even that.
Well, all it takes is for the chief constable, I think it is the chief constable, to identify an area as a no-fly zone, but they can put their own drones up, which is how to get around things like football matches, so that they can, and they've got eyes in the sky as well to spot things, but you can't have your own drone up because they need the airspace. And also demonstrations as well. They're becoming no-fly zones. Ignorance isn't an excuse. However, lawyer studies for around 7 years. Yes. Ignorance is not an excuse to break the law. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that I was breaking the law by driving that sledgehammer into that person's head. you know, or in this case, Ghetto turning around and saying it's not illegal for me to beat somebody up. I'm an inspector. I'm above the law.
It's definitely the way it seems, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And,
I think that.
and even beyond that, you know, do you think they're above the law when taking someone's life?
Yes, yes. Well, we're seeing it time after time. Certainly over the last 2.5 years, how the police forces have changed and the way that the police things. Gone are the days, I think, where the average person had any respect for the police.
Yeah, I don't. As I've said to police before, even literally after being assaulted last year, I said, "I'll tell you straight, I've got no respect for that fucking uniform." I said, "But if you show me as a person, you know, respect, then I'll give it back. But as far as that uniform goes, I couldn't give a shit about it."
Yeah. Scott, in answer to your statement that we need to start listening to Peter Pope to understand your rights, Peter Pope quotes common law, and common law no longer exists. We live in a country of acts and statutes, and as such, that overrides anything to do with common law. You can seriously end up in a nasty situation by going down the common law route because no court recognizes common law because it's all acts and statutes. So it's a non-starter, to be honest, with regards to that. I think what we need to do, more people need to understand what they can do within the acts and statutes. And if it doesn't say something, then technically it's not illegal. Common law in theory works, but not in practice anymore. And it'll take more than just us. What's that outlaw? It's not true in that's not true in Scotland about common law. Well, Scotland have their own laws and regulations, and a lot of what they have is based on common law. Within within England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, that is totally different because we're run by central office in London that knows jack all about anything else. But what was funny was over the last couple of years, the way that they split everything up into 4 areas. You had England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland all making up their own rules around that flu virus that went round. Scott, you're not. Don't tell me you're actually. I thought you were Peter Pope, but in a different disguise.
I was going to say maybe Scott is Peter Pope.
If I'm wrong,
yeah.
I apologise.
Pope has helped me understand the law and to disregard acts and statutes.
Well, I use the term lawful. I don't. We are under acts and statutes. If you go to work, you're under acts and statute because of the Health and Safety at Work Act, which is designed to protect you in work. Without that, then your bosses can do anything you want. So say if I got it wrong, I got it wrong. Hello, Zombie, and everybody else in the chat. I'm just reading through as we go through. I do like looking at the chat because I learn things, believe it or not. Scotland is a law upon themselves, literally.
I guess in some ways, probably. in some ways, I think from things I've said where I feel like I've contradicted myself in the past, common law to some degree has some merit, but has no legal merit in
Not in the society
today's.
we live in. No,
Yeah,
this is where the issue is.
yeah,
To get to a state of common law, you're going to have the masses, and I do mean the masses, agreeing with you and to act under common law and to take common law as their right. That way, that's the only way you're going to change things. But you're not going to change things by one or two people standing up for it, because as we saw in Peter Pope's video, when he was being interviewed on a voluntary basis, which I thought was amusing.
yeah. I
Because
never watched that.
I've actually got a copy of it. I've just never released it, but it's good. It's a good comedy show. I might show it sometime on the website.
We were
because
born
that
into
way-
legal slavery.
Yeah, I agree totally. My granddaughter has been born into legal slavery, but it is legal. You know, if she doesn't get registered by a certain time, then the parents are going to get fined.
I wonder how many parents that haven't registered the child, though, have actually been fined.
I think the question would be how many. I wonder what the percentage rate is of those who haven't registered their children against those who have, because people just see it as a legal
I think,
requirement.
yeah, I think to put it as one of them things you look forward to, isn't it? And especially,
Yeah.
especially when you're having a baby, and
Yeah.
and the way I look at it now is you basically just go and you're carrying your baby, and then you go in and essentially transfer the own, like, I hate to say it like this because I don't even think anyone owns anyone, but basically it's like transferring ownership to the government of your child.
Yeah. And you can, the child can, at the age of 7, is allowed to withdraw from the registration and become a free person. But why the age of 7, I don't know, because I wouldn't have thought by the age of 7 they would understand what it means. I think anybody past that age, or I would say is of the age of 18 and above and understands it, should be able to remove themselves from the register.
Yeah, I have asked that question. If you can be registered, can you deregister yourself?
Yeah.
But then I guess the only thing deregistering so far.
I can see your comment, but so I don't think you are blocked. Now, let's have a look.
It's probably death.
No.
That's probably the only way of deregistering yourself.
Yeah. No, Peter, you're not blocked. You are showing up in the chat.
Hey, Tim. Hey, Susan. Sorry, I usually say hello to everyone, so if I haven't said hello to you, then I'll just say hello to everyone. No, it's just because, yeah. I can't see any, every bit of aspect that is looked at, government, police, everything needs fucking complete reform. It's just a complete mess.
Yeah, SG, I'm not too sure because what you're referring to maritime law, but it's still law.
Yeah, but maritime law holds while you're on the sea, and we are on the land. So we are under maritime law, but living on the land.
I thought we were
I
under the
can't go
law.
into any more than that. I'm still learning off other people with that one.
Peter, I hear common law is dead. Well, yes, it is. It doesn't exist in these within the UK or anywhere else. Common law used to, but then we had a Parliament built, and we handed everything over to Parliament to represent us. That's why we have general elections. And out of the people who are registered, maybe 35% of the UK will actually go and vote. The rest don't think it's worth it. So maybe it's the voting system which needs to be looked at. Instead of having first past the post, have an alternative.
See, I just think with the voting system, it's there to make the people think that they have the power, when in reality, it's just worthless. They're just going to do what they want anyway.
Oh yeah. Well, have you not
and rig it to fit their agenda?
Yeah, I was going to say, have you not noticed that leading up to any election, whether it be a by-election, whether it be a council election or whatever, even in your, if you have a, dare I say, it's a working man's club, the issue that I have is they promise everything beforehand and then deliver nothing once they're in power.
Hi, Yvonne.
Hi, Yvonne. Right. Okay. So what's this, Peter? How did I get away with 3 malicious communications when I was banged to rights with their evidence that they had? Because it probably wasn't in the public interest to take it to court, to be honest. I mean, at the end of the day, who are you? And who am I?
Oh,
We're nothing.
You need to claim your own sovereignty back.
Well, how do you do it? That's an interesting.
I'm just wondering that. How would you claim your own sovereignty back?
Yeah.
Sovereignty back.
Peter, you and I will never see eye to eye. But I'll tell you what, talking about the way that you see things and the way I see things, I always enjoy a good debate, as long as it doesn't become personal. CPS saving costs, yeah. You remember, acts only apply if you consent to them. That's why it's called acts of consent. But we've already given the act of consent away. We've already, as a nation, we've handed that over to Parliament, which is the reason why we have general elections, to reinforce that.
You could actually say, with these acts of consent, obviously, they've got to be put into place anyway. But that would be put in, however that's, I'll get my thoughts out today. However they come about, surely you could say that that's by the predecessors, not actually ourselves, because we haven't been the ones to consent to anything.
We haven't consented.
We haven't physically consented to any of these laws.
But our
we've been born into it. Yeah. Hey, SG.
Hello.
Hey, yes, you're absolutely right there. We were born into it.
Yeah.
Before we had any even word in our mind that we could say or understand, our rights were given away by our parents unwittingly, unknowingly. Didn't really know what was going on. So I don't
Yeah.
blame any parents, but some
Because-
parents, certainly traveller parents, are up with this knowledge and they don't register them sometimes. But I don't believe you need to do that because there is a way out. That birth certificate that is basically a contract of death, birth and death certificate.
Yeah.
Yep.
That you're lost at sea and therefore you're under that maritime law. If that and it is a legal standing, that's how they do their control system. Then if you've claimed to be alive, because when you're lost at sea after 7 years, you become dead. You're still lost at sea, but you're dead. And that's what happens when you're 7 years old. You were master, and then 7 years old, your letters from the state come down as mister then, don't they? If anyone remembers that.
Yeah,
Yep.
which is the reason why
So
when you're
that's
seven,
the legal
you
standing.
can opt out.
Yeah. And well, I haven't opted out. All I've done is basically said I'm alive. I'm not lost at sea, which countermands that control over me. Now, Outlaw King said something about if you deregister yourself, you can't rely on the state. Well, I rely on the state, but I have now said I'm alive. So I have my own birth certificate. I have a new birth certificate.
It's like being born again.
It is actually, in a way, it does kind of feel like that when you realize it, and so, yeah, I have also heard of people using that birth certificate for legal purposes, obviously. So I don't see any problem with that really at all.
So what would be the difference between your old birth certificate and your new one? Like all of the legal things that go with it?
Well, they haven't got you with the old one, basically, which is the contract of. It's a contract. The new one is not a contract with them, is it? It's a contract, basically, of you. It's a statement as opposed to a contract. Now, to them, it works like a contract, but it's a statement. It's stating you are not under that control because you're not lost at sea or dead.
Okay, so
and I'd prefer to die after being alive than die after being dead. It's just more correct, isn't it?
We are alive. I totally agree with you. We're not dead. We are alive. We are living entities.
I think it's a crime that they're trying to make out that we're dead.
Well, I've got a question for you, sort of based on what's going on in the chat. If you're driving a vehicle and a policeman
we've been over
stops
this
you,
many times.
You have to, all right. Go over it one more time just for me.
Please do.
And they stop and ask you for your driving license as somebody who is now alive, right? Do you still hold a driving license?
I do, because a driving license is there and was created for business use on the road.
Okay. Does that include personal business?
Personal business. Well, you mean like a private business?
No, like going to the shops and buying food.
That's not business. That's not commerce. That's just somebody else's commerce. And you're just, you're just making a purchase. That's it.
Yeah. So when you get stopped by a copper and they ask you for your driving license, would you show it to them?
I actually don't have one at the moment. I'm waiting for it from DVLA. So
yeah,
I'll say no.
Right,
but let's just leave that argument and say
SG as
okay.
Always.
Yes, I'm getting with you. Don't worry. Yeah. So okay, they say let's say I've got one. Yeah. Do I have to give it them? No.
Under the Act and statutes, you do.
Well.
And they can arrest you for it. under accident
The comment
statutes,
is
whether you-
driving.
Well, if you haven't got it on, yeah, you've got 7 days to produce it in the
Exactly.
nearest legal
Oh
station.
yeah,
Mhm.
So,
police station of your choice. There's 3 things that you have to show under accident statutes when driving. And yes, it is a contract. You enter into that contract. But
Or
you enter into
driving.
that
Do you know what driving means?
to travel.
No. Traveling is completely different. Driving is getting paid for it, the business side. Traveling
So
is absolutely nothing to
Amazon
do with it.
drivers, for instance, who drop off your parcels, that's a business. Because they're working on behalf of a company, therefore it's a business. Me going to go into a cemetery for a funeral, for argument's sake, isn't business.
Exactly.
But I still need to get there. I still need to be able to drive.
Yeah. Drive
So,
as in, so
drive
what,
a
you're going to get
vehicle.
paid for going there?
No, I still need to
Well,
be
then
able
that's
to
not driving.
drive there. So what is it then if you're not
Traveling.
driving? You're traveling.
Yes.
And under the current regime of acts and statutes, where does that fit in?
Nowhere. It's a
So
lawful activity.
But you still need to have insurance.
No,
you still have to have a
but-
vehicle which
But
is.
I don't see why anyone shouldn't have insurance, even if they're traveling.
Well, they should.
Personally. I mean, I have heard of a common law insurance company. So there are options out there. I mean, just because you don't have to have insurance doesn't mean you actually shouldn't. But what you've got to remember is, I think you were going to go down the route that's previously has been said, like, what if somebody without insurance runs somebody over?
Well, that happens quite a lot, unfortunately.
It does happen quite a lot. And what happens after that then?
There's usually a slush fund that money will come from if you put
There is
in
a
a
slush
claim.
fund, but it's not to do with that. That's for the insurance of the. That's for the payment of the vehicles and so forth, damage to the vehicles. That I'm talking about compensation for somebody being injured in a RTA or whatever. You know.
Yeah, well, that still falls
When
under.
somebody hasn't got car insurance, you see,
Yeah.
from my knowledge, it doesn't have anything to do with personal injury, unless you've got some special golden freaking thing which covers all your court costs. But that what all that means is it's going to help you try and get away with it, not certainly provide compensation to anyone who's been injured in anything like that.
No,
You
the minimum payout would be under third party. You're a third party in a vehicle.
Nothing to do with a driving license or car insurance.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from, and I mean, I personally, even if we didn't have accident statutes, right, I would still have insurance because if
That's
I
what I'm
was
saying.
involved, I mean, that's just me personally, because if I was involved in an accident and the other person wasn't covered, whoever's in the car would have to claim against me, even though I'm not at fault. They're still insured to be in that vehicle. Now, Jamie's put in and highlighted accident statutes are not laws. Well,
They are acting as law, but it is by consent.
And like I say, we've already given that consent away.
That consent, though, is already taken if you have the birth certificate. You are under all of that if you have your birth certificate as they have made it.
I mean, the only way, I mean, the birth certificate isn't proof of identification anyway, which is strange in some ways, because you need that birth certificate to prove who you are when you apply for a passport or when you
That's only
apply
one
for
form of identification,
driving,
though, isn't it?
or driving license. Yeah, but it's not a form of identity. It does actually state that, which I find quite amusing because it is something that you need. But while we're under acts and statutes, I honestly think
Every time.
How's it going, guys?
Hello, Flu
Hey,
Toy.
Fruitoy.
I just think that we need to be armed. We need to, as individuals, need to know what the acts and statutes are, because if we break the acts and statutes, then we are breaking the contract which has been signed away from
Yes, you
us
see, the thing is, we
years
don't
ago.
usually know the law, though, do we, Grim? We go around in life not knowing any of these acts and statutes, and
I
then we
totally
fall
agree with
foul
you.
of them.
By
You know,
design.
because, yeah, by design, because law and you know, business, commerce have an unwritten rule, which is, you know, fool him who is allowed to be fooled.
Can I just expand on the driving license thing? Right. So when it comes to driving and traveling, right, this is legal terms, right? They're legal terms. So in legalese, driving is getting paid for it, right? So it's a commercial thing. Where traveling, you're not getting paid for it. So under how the law is written, right, that only people who are driving have to have a license, right? Let's not talk about insurance, but a license, right? And the way it's written, that people who are traveling don't need a license, right? But you see, the issue is two issues. One, these guys can order men with guns to make you do what they want. They can kidnap you. They can throw you in a prison, right? So those sort of arguments don't work. All right, and they've been proven not to work in courts. All right, they don't like it. They don't like you bringing it up. Right,
They hate it.
they hate it, but they have the power. They have the strong arm of the law to enforce their will. Right.
Force
Yeah. So yeah, force their will. Yeah, that's one.
against our will.
That's one. A second one, a kind of a funny one, is, would you say transporting cargo is traveling or driving?
It depends if you're going to be selling it after buying it pretty quickly,
Yeah,
and if it's to
it's
do with any
commercial.
business. If it's
Commercial.
personal, then it's absolutely not.
If it's commercial, reasons, then it's driving, right? Transporting cargo.
Mm.
Right. What are you under your birth certificate?
A ship,
Cargo.
a vessel.
No, you're cargo. You're not a ship. You're a cargo. That's how you're defined, as cargo, right? So you're and
You
because of
may
your
be
birth
right there,
certificate,
but
it is
either
commercial.
way, once
That's the funny one.
once you've not got that birth certificate as was,
Yeah.
then you're not
Look,
cargo anymore, are you? You're a man or a woman, a living man or a living woman.
That would be the right way, but they don't play by the rules. They play by the
No,
wrong
they
rules.
don't play by the rules.
Right. So really, we have to obey them, or you will get locked up. Right. So if you,
Oh, I'm sure I'm going to be locked up at some point.
not you. I don't mean you. I mean
No, but
in
I'm sure I
general.
am. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
you know.
don't get locked up. It's not worth getting locked up. You know, it really is.
No, I mean, it's going to happen at some point, isn't it? Because there'll be a disagreement and they'll go, oh, arrest him and we'll sort it out later.
Yeah. Well,
Because that's their attitude, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, it's not that blatant. They can't just go around arresting people. I mean, they can, but they would have to drop the charges if they can't back up those charges, right? So they can't arrest you because they don't like the look in your face. Well, they can, but I mean, you're not going to go to prison for it. Yeah, but they can,
No.
but you're not going to go to prison for it. The courts aren't going to go along with it, right?
Yeah, totally agree. Hi, Queen Ninja.
No, I would say that it's kind of like this, right? It's like we're shown a map of the world that we live, and it's wrong. It's not wrong, but it's wrong. You know?
Right. We have to abide by the
and there's
rules.
another map.
We gave away our power.
Once you see the map, then you've got more of an idea on what to do. It's just how and if you can, you know, orient yourself across the map. And I believe Peter Pope does have his own orientation, and it works.
I don't disagree with
For
the
him.
theory of common law. Never have done. I just don't think at this present moment in time, because of the number of people who follow contracts, that it's workable. I don't see how you're going to move from contract law, acts and statutes, to common law, when common law wasn't originally designed for us as peasants. It was
Well, it was
designed.
designed for us to get freedom because, you know, we got the king to sign like shit. You know, we got him to sign it
Yeah,
twice.
but the king does, the king stroke queen or whoever, right,
We don't need them now.
signs everything because it's a rubber stamp after it's gone through the houses, you know, regardless. But all I'm saying is that thanks to was it, Oliver Cromwell, we now have this wonderful system which supposedly uh, is decided through the Houses of Commons. The Houses of Commons is supposed to be there for the common man.
You
And
mean
then it's
the House of Commons or the Houses of Parliament?
the House of Commons. The House of Commons is where all the debate is.
It's the one
Right.
of the courts of the land. If anyone didn't know.
Yes, but then an act is then sent to the houses, the House of Lords, who can change it, send it back. We don't like this. We want it done another way. I think after the third reading, it has to go to the rubber stamp from the Crown of the country.
Mm. But as you know, acting isn't reality, and government actors, as we've known a lot with auditing, shows that they act in a way, but the law is different.
Oh yeah.
So it's all fake.
I don't refer. I mean, I refer to things that are lawful, which I do things which is lawful. To me, if it's an act or a statute, it doesn't matter. To me, it's to do with what is lawful and what's not.
But what if they've created an act or statute, Grim, that says you can't say a certain word and you go out and you're used to saying that word and then suddenly you can't say that word and you're in prison? Are you going to be happy about that one?
No, because
Well, they are doing that.
That's what I'm saying.
They are doing
that. Exactly.
They are. Look, I mean, let's face it. We know that the government, or the governments and above, are out to impose their will on everybody. Right? There's no two ways about that. That's the situation.
Yeah, it's their will, and that's not right. It should be only the law.
Okay, so you've got a society which is based on acts and statutes. The majority of people don't know or understand anything about common law, right? Because all they know is acts and statutes. How do you break that? How do you get a movement together which will change?
It's already happening in a massive way across the world. Thousands of people.
But it's going to take millions.
The problem,
not always. All it'll take is a few cases to pop and actually get like mainstream coverage. Now, the mainstream coverage is not there because obviously they don't want people to know, and it's always stomped on. And it's been stomped on in this community as well. If I, be so bold as to say, but it has, hasn't it?
I mean, Scott's saying by first listening, I'd say the first thing is asking questions and looking up things for yourself before listening.
Yeah, that's if you understand.
Well, people have lost the ability to even ask the question. They just take things as fact.
Yes.
Well,
like find your ability to ask the questions again. Like you was when you was a kid, you're constantly asking questions. Like find that part of yourself again.
Yeah.
I mean, my granddaughter's going to. She's not going to be brought up by me, but my son has an understanding of rights, and I'm hoping that he will pass his knowledge on to my granddaughter as and when she's old enough to understand. Because I may not be around.
Rights are very important, and the fact that we aren't even taught them at school says everything.
I totally agree with you. This is what part of the problem. I mean, if you look at the US Constitution, which is actually based on common law,
On English common
um,
law.
yes, yeah,
Therefore, it is
we
under common law.
yeah, but we don't have that. That's what
We
I'm
do.
trying to say. No, we don't. We don't
No,
have
we
a
do.
constitution.
We have
Where
an
is it?
English constitution.
Where is it? Because
Well, just because it's been
whenever I've
suppressed
I'm
when,
sure
doesn't mean
in
it's
one
not
of my
there.
previous lives, someone actually shared a link
There
to
you go.
the
Yeah, I
English
think
Constitution.
that was me.
I've
Was
yeah,
There you go.
It's written in a way, same with the Irish Constitution, it's written in a way that you would need to understand legalese to know what it's on about even.
And
Common
it's in
man
the Old
is never
English
gonna
because that is
understand it.
legalese, isn't it?
Yeah, and they're not going to understand it, right? But you're right. The main problem, right, is that a lot of people just don't care and don't want to know and couldn't care less. They just
Yeah.
want to get on with their lives.
They'd rather be a
that's it.
slave.
They'd rather, well, that they
well,
don't
they
see it
don't know
like
any
that.
difference.
Yeah, they don't see it like that. They see it like, geez, I have this to do, I have that to do, I have so many things to do just to make my life go well.
Yeah, I'm
right?
more interested in the next episode of something when I get home. Cheers.
Yeah, I want somebody else to arrest the criminals. I want somebody else
Yeah,
to
yeah.
defend my doors. I have to go out and earn money to pay for this, and my kids need to, they're overwhelmed with things they need to do. And again, that's by design, right? So as the powers that be see it, if people have too much to do in their lives, they're not going to worry about common law, and they're not going to worry about constitutions, and they're not going to worry about any of that. They just want us to keep them safe, to go
Yeah,
around
I
working.
totally, I totally agree.
Yeah,
New
here's the
Guru
important
said
thing about
something.
common law, though. Jordan Peterson has been mentioning it quite a bit. I mentioned just earlier. He doesn't go into it in depth. I don't think he wants to, but he does mention many times on many of his videos how English common law basically gives you all of your rights, and unless your activities are infringing on somebody else's given rights, then you're all right.
But that's morals to me. That's not common
Well,
law.
isn't that what we should be actually enforcing?
I
Moral
agree.
law,
I totally agree with you. But
not
as,
immoral laws, which a lot
no,
of them are, aren't they now?
no, yeah. I mean, it's like common law wife that
Legal,
doesn't
sorry.
exist anymore. Because because at one time there wasn't. You were married under common law. That's the reason why you had that. And that term came from. Nude puts Guru said quite simply before, people who don't want to be woken up to what's going on, you're never going to wake them up, basically,
Mm.
because they don't care.
They don't care, yes. There is no point with those people, yes.
Which, as I was trying to explain, is the majority of the population who believe, and I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong, right, that common law doesn't exist anymore because we are living in, I would like to say
You are. I'm
democracy,
now
but
not.
I would say that it's more to do with a fascist state. It's the dictatorship, which is the reason why I say, and I'm going to read someone's up. The
I think
idea
the
of a
proper
general
term is
election
fascist bastard
is.
dictatorship.
Let me, let,
That's
let me
actually the
finish what.
term.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
Sorry.
Don't do a crinkle on me. Right. What I
I
was
would
trying
never.
to say is, zip. Thank you. What I was trying to say is that when you have a general election, it is designed by default to fool you into thinking that you have a say regarding who rules the country, who
No, you
makes up.
do. You do have a say. That vote is your contract, basically, to say, I agree with this person's activities after I voted them in.
Yes, yeah.
And that in itself basically
But you have no
puts you
power.
under
You're
them
handing your
again. Why would
power
I
over,
do that?
aren't
I'm
you?
never voting again.
Yeah,
So
but
go on, I'll let you
right.
finish and then I'll try and keep hold of this thought.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks. What I'm trying to put across is that yes, it is a contract, right? People who register to vote are following a contract in law, right? law of the land. So you have to register. If you don't, it's £1,000 fine. However, if you don't register, how can they find you to fine you? Does that make sense? Right? Because that ties you to a property. That's the idea behind it. You are then sent a polling card. It is your decision whether you vote or not. Right? When you go and vote, you are deciding which flavour of a dictatorship you
Yeah.
want, because that's how I see the Houses of Parliament and the House of Commons. Because on one side of the House, you've got the dictators of the four-year term or whatever it is, right? And on the other side are the ones who didn't get the majority vote. And out of all the people who are registered to vote, around 30% probably go to the polling booths. And I would say out of that 30%, the majority are people who have voted all their lives and don't know anything different. The ones who don't vote, the ones who don't register, right? Take those as two separate ones. Those who register are entering into a contract, but they're exercising their right not to vote. Those who don't register to vote, right? I applaud them because they're deciding not to enter into a contract at the risk of being fined. But they accept the fact that they could be fined because it's a legal requirement. But
Well, they can
again,
certainly
you're
try
entering.
and find.
Yeah. So that's what I was trying to explain.
Mm.
You know,
No,
I
you're
went
right.
off grid
The thing
because
is,
I didn't register for anything, didn't have a bank account or anything for about 8 years.
well, yeah, I personally didn't have a bank account for about nearly 15 years.
Yeah. So
What a pain that
yeah.
was.
Well, for me, it wasn't too much of a problem. I got round it because my missus had an account, so I had all my wages paid into her account. But that's just how I got round it, so I could get access to money. But you have to work around what you got. You with me? And that's all I'm trying to say. We can't get rid of acts and statutes overnight. It's never going to happen.
And I don't
Because-
believe we should.
Okay.
Overnight.
Okay. So when I
Because, I
say
mean, you know,
overnight,
it's
I'm
like,
talking about in the next 100 years.
well, yeah,
It's
if
not-
throwing someone in a hot bath isn't a good idea sometimes, is it? But if you can, like, slowly lower yourself in, maybe it won't be such a shock.
Yeah.
Like a
I mean,
lobster?
this is,
I typed out what I was going to say, so I didn't forget.
oh, sorry. If you vote,
If you can vote, if a vote can be held as as a contract, then can we deem them in breach of contracts when they don't deliver what they promised to begin with?
Interesting point,
No.
Anne-Marie, because this is always what I've looked at with the, you know, certain politicians coming into power. They say this, that, the other. Let's say they say 10 things that are part of what their plan is. You vote them in, and it doesn't happen, does it?
And, yeah, they never deliver anything that they have intentions on. They completely do the polar opposite.
Obama,
Yeah.
I will take all soldiers out of Afghanistan and Iraq. Did that happen? No.
No. No.
They see the show come.
Boris, I will take us out of the EU on our terms. Did that happen? No.
No, DBL. And it's still under negotiation even now.
It was their terms. It's the EU
Oh, yeah.
terms.
Yeah.
Every damn time.
We had to buy our way out and then agree a trade agreement too. And in the middle of the Irish Sea, agree to have a port that's going to stop every vessel, you know, to check what's in there. It's a lot of poppycock. It's never going to work.
Can you imagine doing that on the road with every...
Well, there isn't a road that goes across from Ireland.
There we are.
You either fly or you go by boat, basically. You know,
or you could get yourself a dinghy and swim yourself over.
Why not? I mean, hey,
Well, funny you say that, Marie. There was a case a couple of
do
years
that all
ago.
the time.
Well, these guys did some legal salvage of the dinghies which were being used by the dinghy divers to come over. So they took this dinghy and they drove it on the water or whatever to as well. They were going to take it somewhere. They're giving it a bit of a joyride first, you know. The border force found them and arrested them. Later, they were released, and a lot later, they were actually given the dinghies because they'd claimed them properly. It's just that border force, just like police, they're government actors. They're told how to act, and they act that way. But that's all on YouTube. Literally, they got done for joyriding. I mean, what is the point when people are coming across on the actual dinghies that they were on into the
Yeah.
country and they're doing nothing? The border force are doing nothing, but then they're arresting people from England who've taken the boats. I mean, they should have said, look, go back to the bloody coast, put it on the back of a trailer and fuck off.
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah,
they have to
I mean,
arrest them.
Scott raises an interesting question. What we are saying is where and how do we? What we're not saying is where and how we should start using common law. Any suggestions? Well, that's what I mean. I want to try and understand that, because where do you start and what do you do? Common law, if you want it to come to the forefront again and use it, how do you get round it? Kim's highlighted the French are striking back about strikes and the cost of living.
Cost of living, yeah.
Every government is going to start doing that soon. It's going to be illegal to fart in the street. Never
Oh,
mind.
yes, Smithers.
Mate, even if you're not allowed to withdraw your labour. Basically, that's what they're saying.
Well, what enjoyment can a slave have?
Things, though, guys, are we confusing things here a bit? Because right, common law, right? This is on ICLR website, right? The English legal system. Common law is a law declared by judges, derived from customs and procedures, right? So it's still there. The common law includes both substantial rules such as offence of murder, and common law rule may be superseded or replaced by legislation which is said to trump or take precedence over the common law. So we have common law, and it was derived by judges, right? Common law wasn't derived by people, or right. Just another quick point, just to make it. Sorry, I'm all over the place here. Right, let's look at Hitler. Right, 5'7" bloke. Could he have done anything without support? Not really a thing. He would have been like a madman on the street, mumbling away to people, right?
Futoy, can I just add something there? If I'm in line with history, that the Nazi Party, while in power, never broke a law.
Yeah, I like that.
They made their new acts and statutes to cover everything they did.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Medic's comments.
Yeah, no, I agree. But the point I'm trying to make is that let's pull it back to Hitler. I could say the Nazi Party, but my point is that Hitler couldn't have done anything, right, without support of the people, right?
Yeah.
This government can't do anything without the support and backing of the people, right? And it's a bit unclear who said this quote. Some say it was Edmund Burke, but fact checker says it wasn't Edmund Burke. So the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing, right?
Yeah.
Or go along with it. So Hitler could have done anything without the German people going along with it. This legal system can't do anything without the people going along with it. So
can I just say that we're going along?
Problem,
we're going along with our government right now because we're not.
So we can't
opposing.
really blame them, because the majority of the people are allowing them to do this, are probably encouraging them to do this. Right?
See, again, I go
you
back
need
to the
find-
education
you need to
system as
find
well, and
the cause rather than the cure, right?
Like the
So
things that are implemented
one
in
point
schools now.
of the problem is lack of education in school about it.
Yeah,
Also
yeah,
by
because
design,
schools are done with damn
and
kids. Yeah,
a lot of people being too busy to give a damn. They're just too busy. They have too much on their hands to
A lot of people
care
too
about this
busy.
sort of thing, you know. And it's so complicated. A lot of people don't even know we have a constitution. And then when you do find a constitution, you need to have a bloody law degree to understand it. What
Tell
they're
me
on
about
about.
Which is the reason why I say we don't have a constitution, because no fucker understands it anyway. And it's
Sorry,
well
I had my
written.
tab muted. If I was talking over anybody, I just didn't hear you. I had the tab muted. Sorry about that, guys.
no, that's
Maybe
all
it
right.
needs to be properly
it's fine.
redefined for a new time. Who knows? In the new legal terms, legalese that we need to get through to people for them to understand it.
Yeah, I mean, the world is about to go through a serious change with AI and stuff like that. So there is going to be a big change over the next, say, 20 years, you know.
See,
I'll tell
I'd
you
say
one
while
thing,
technology is there, use it to your advantage and find out as much as you can now.
Yeah,
Before it is the complete. It's already a disadvantage in many ways, but use it for the better. Really.
I'll tell you one thing, if an AI gets to decide on
That's the
human
problem.
activities, there will be no common law because it wouldn't want it. It would want to be controlling all of us.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing is, AI has been seen and is being called by the people in the know as a bigger threat to mankind than nuclear war.
Absolutely.
Right.
Funnily enough, I'm friends with someone who's very into AI and was lobbying at the time. He had 3 interviews with different politicians ready to lobby. I was going to help him with it, and or he asked me to help him with it, and I said yes. And then COVID hit, and all that went out the window.
See, I think they're already conditioning us now, ready for AI with things like Alexa and Google Assistant and all of them other things.
None of the
phone and your
systems are
tablet.
in place to protect us against the threat of the AI.
Look at every kid.
Plus, they're always listening. That's the thing that pisses me off. They're always listening.
Take your phone or your tablet off your kid. What happens? They go nuts. They're already conditioned.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, their face is stuck in a phone or a tablet all day.
Okay.
Peter is
Actually,
right there. He says you don't need to know the Constitution, just learn the UCC and Bill of Rights. The UCC is the Universal Commercial Code, or Uniform Commercial Code.
So, and the Bill of Rights is about to be changed.
I think I've only seen one video of an AI questions, and
These are inalienable rights, though. These are inalienable rights, which means they can't be changed. You know.
Well, they can do what they want.
They do what they want, but they can't be changed. You know.
They're saying that over in the States regarding the Constitution, right? Which a lot of activists are fighting against, because the different states, the different local parishes, etc., are all bringing in their own local laws, shall we say, which are in direct conflict with the Constitution, and people are being arrested for the wrong reasons. But I mean, yeah, UK Medic, Hollywood has already told the story of where we're heading, you know, and warned everybody this is where we're heading. An AI is definitely going to be taking over, but who controls the AI controls the human race. You know, at the end of the day,
He who controls the spice controls the universe.
See, this is where I think it's all linked in. You know, like your schools are dumbing down kids now and not pointing out where kids are going wrong, so they actually learn anyway, and not teaching them the right things and just teaching them the bullshit. Then it's almost like being a human robot in yourself because you're losing all of them abilities that
Or
we would
freedoms.
have been taught as a kid. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we
this
are
is
being
this is why
programmed.
next time I ever get pulled up by the police, for a time, I might do this, yes, officer, hello, officer.
Yeah.
I ever get pulled up by the police? I am explaining to you, officer. I am answering your questions, officer. But now I'm not, because I'm actually a human. So fuck off.
I can hear you repeating on Flutoy. Flutoy's got a browser open, or did. I don't know what the answer is. I believe that we are losing our rights, and I'm not talking about rights which have been given to us. I'm talking about our human rights as human beings, the right to be free, the right to be able to talk and be freely without being censored.
Rights are rights because they are right. It's the right way.
Yes, it's not a privilege. It's not something that's been given, and I'm in total agreement with you. There,
As Jordan Peterson has said, we have those rights by default.
Yeah, I mean, some people turn around and say it's a God-given right. That's where the phrase comes from.
Well, it certainly comes as a God-given right in the beginning, because common law was unwritten at a certain point.
Common law was common sense, and let's face it.
Yeah, and we don't have common sense.
It's not that common anymore. Yeah.
Exactly.
Or sense, good sense,
Any
isn't,
sense,
or right sense is not common anymore.
It's commercial now.
Yes, well, that's where that's an
every aspect of today's thing. It's all conditioning us.
Yeah.
Ready for what's coming.
We are being treated as businesses, each of us as a business, theirs that they own, in a way. Yeah. And like I say, that way out is a way out. Now, if they are absolutely treating us as a business and it's all commerce, then it's either contract law or it's criminal law. And if you haven't actually committed a crime and it's contract law, then you don't have to contract, do you?
No, I as I said, actually, I agree with what you're saying. I agree with the principle behind it.
Don't forget that the police take that common law oath.
But they don't.
If they didn't do that, then you wouldn't be able to hold them to account of
See, I'd like to see how the oath has possibly changed over the years, because I'm under the impression it used to be an oath for common law, but now I'm thinking it's more of an oath to the Queen and government than to the people itself.
It may mention the Queen, but or whichever dignitary is in power.
So I'd like to see word for word what that oath actually is.
It's an interesting oath, actually. That's an interesting one to read, I've got to say.
Yeah,
do you want to get it up?
Well, yeah. While you did that, I'm going to just comment on human rights. Right, one of your human rights is access to medicine. Right? Can you take marijuana, which has been proven as medicine? No, they'll lock you up, or they'll take you to court on it. They'll charge you on it. I mean,
yeah.
So that's one of your human rights: is the right to access to medicine. Walk around with a joint or have some weed in your pocket. Where's that right gone? It's proven to have medical benefits.
And it's also, even the government have agreed that, which is the reason why you can get certain things through prescribed.
Yeah, recently, just recently. But yeah, you can have your human rights as long as the government agrees with it.
But the thing is, how can you tax something? How can you make a decision on something that is probably naturally grown on this earth anyway, long before even us were here? Nature provides remedies, and medicine is derived from nature. So
yeah,
right.
It's all about control and money and all that crap, isn't it?
That's
yeah,
it.
but they can say They can say the same thing about opium. It comes from a plant. Cocaine, it comes from a plant. You know, I think all the drugs basically come from nature.
Yeah, yeah.
I think there is synthetic drugs,
I
but
take I have to take codeine when I'm in a lot of pain. That is derived from cocaine. You know, that's where
which
it
just comes
comes
from a
from.
plant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
the coca plant.
but it's perfectly legal, folks, because they say so. What I'm trying
Yeah.
what I'm trying to get to is the principle of common law. I'm not taking that away from anyone. I think that the principle would work, right? And I personally agree with some of the things which are said around common law. And I also believe that we should rights are what we take is not given to us. We use our rights as human beings, and no one should stop us from doing that. But the last 2.5 years has demonstrated just how badly people will follow what they're told and propaganda.
Yeah. Like the
You know,
government goes, let's do this. If the people accept it, well, then we can do it, right? If nobody goes against us doing this, well, then we get away with it.
yes. Yeah.
If the people start
And what they did-
rioting all over England and close down the roads and close down all the services, I mean, the majority of the people, well, then they have to submit to that. They have no choice but to
Yeah.
submit to that. Yeah,
Which
you
is the
can't chuck
reason
everybody in
why,
prison.
yeah, which is the reason why they're bringing in more acts and statutes around that to limit people's abilities to protest, which is their right, but you
Right.
can only do it in certain ways. It's a way of
Yeah,
controlling.
they're trying to limit that. That's horrible. And also, I
And
read somewhere somebody said they're building four mega prisons in England.
I
Have you heard
think
about
it
that?
might be
already built.
6, if I'm not mistaken, possibly.
Yeah,
Six? What do they need six
they're
mega
already
prisons
built.
for, guys? What's
They're
coming?
for the politicians.
Well, that
Well,
was
wouldn't
always the debate I was thinking, especially in the time of all the COVID stuff, is it to house the prisoners or is it going to be to house the ones that said no to the vaccine? Or is it going to be to house the ones, because they're built like hotels by the looks of it. So is it going to be to house all the ones that have took the vaccine and it's going to be a bit like Hunger Games?
Well,
Protesters.
But again, I have to come back to the thing, if they're saying it's for prisoners and stuff like that, why is it took to get to COVID and why is it took to the past couple of years
yeah.
for someone sitting in prison to be able to eat a meal less than fucking 3 feet away, more than 3 feet away from the toilet?
Are they taking the American route? Where they make money off prisoners.
Well, I think I've read £56 a day off each prisoner the government actually makes.
Mega prisons, Kim.
Hiya, Arkash, how you doing, mate?
All right, Akash.
I think that anybody who stands against the status quo, as in the government, or the government ideas, the propaganda, etc., I think that's where we will probably end up, because we will be shut up one way or another, because they don't want people like us talking about it.
Oh God, no.
Or going against them. Whether you believe in common law or not, you are challenging the status quo as an individual. I do it every day, right? One way or another. Pluto, you do it. She, you do it. And Marie, you do it. Because anybody and everybody, even in the chat, you're all doing what is right for you, and that makes it, in my opinion, the right thing. So if you're standing up against people, against the status quo, whether that be having a bud or whatever it is, right? This is where we become a threat to them.
Yeah.
And I do agree with what I think it was what Scott was said earlier on regarding, we talk to people. You can't make them listen, but you can talk to them.
Well, he just said, how long does it take to wake some people up, Ambery? And I'd say how long is a piece of string, you know. I
Yeah.
think the best thing I ever done in lockdown is switch that TV off and stop listening to that bullshit that comes
Damn
through
right.
it.
I have
Yes,
the
exactly.
I have
And
the
actually get
idea.
rid of it. Right now, I'm sat. You know, I don't have I don't have a TV in my living room.
Yeah, I haven't
So
had
I
one for
don't have it
Good
whatsoever.
shot. No.
Yeah, I don't listen to the news at all. And sometimes people start talking about a subject and I have no clue what they're talking about. And they look at me
I
like you're
catch up
full of
on
head.
YouTube with the snippets that people put up, the important bits. And sometimes I sit
And
there and
I'd
watch
have to
it. But
say, you know, I know some people will probably sit there and think, "Oh, don't your kids watch TV and stuff?" I mean, you know, there is other things that my kids do. You know, they have the phones, they have the Netflix, but they don't have all the bullshit adverts in between. And they have, you know, they're not attached to their devices as much as probably other kids are because they limit themselves on it.
Well,
And
that's
they
down.
actually have the
Yeah,
ability to, you know, use
I
their
have the
imagination and
but that's down to your. That's down to your education of your kids.
still they
You know,
they without me saying anything that I've seen or watched through all of the COVID stuff and being on YouTube and everything relating to the vaccines, they come to their own conclusions by themselves without seeing any of that, which is basically just the same as what I was thinking anyway.
Mm.
as I say, freedom
I
is
have the
something
oath,
you
by the
take.
way.
Sorry, you found it.
Yeah, it wouldn't let me
Oh,
download it on the tablet, so I had to find one that wasn't a download. But it says, according to the Police Reform Act 2002, it is as follows: I insert name of police officer or whatever of
Joe
sorry,
Logs.
constable of police force. So I of do solemnly and sincerely declare and affirm that I will well and truly serve the King in the office of constable with fairness, integrity, diligence, and impartiality, upholding fundamental human rights and according equal respect to all people, and that I will, to the best of my power, cause the peace to be kept and preserved and prevent all offences against people and property, and that while I continue to hold the said office, I will, to the best of my skill and knowledge, discharge all the duties thereof faithfully according to law.
And when they actually go out on the street, they do the opposite.
Yeah, most of them don't even remember what they said.
Yeah. Jerry's put a good point. Auditors have woken many up from their slumber. Every little helps. I wonder where I heard that from, Tesco. So kudos to them. And I
Yep.
agree totally. The
Yeah,
more
I agree with that
people,
too.
as I say, the more people. If I see something, I will video it and I would put it up. I don't see much. I'm stuck in front of a screen near enough 20 when I'm asleep. It's the only time I'm not really stuck in front of the screen. I discuss different things, and depending on what platform I'm on, will depend on how far I can go. Because I don't want to get somebody's channel taken down because I've said something which is against terms of service.
Yeah, do you know what?
Interestingly, I've got the Scottish one here. It's a lot quicker. I do solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of constable with fairness, integrity, diligence, and impartiality, and that I will uphold fundamental human rights and accord equal respect to all people according to law. No mention of any king.
It's
Yeah.
I think a lot of us here spend a lot of time in front of a screen. I just want to put it in here while I can. You on Amazon, I'm sure other places, but on Amazon there's these glasses that you can get for around £10, even less, right? And they block a lot of the blue light that comes from monitors and stuff. And blue light is not good for human beings, right? It also
I
affects,
agree. I actually had to get some of those yellow glasses to sleep with.
well, you can even get them clear. They don't have to be yellow. There is yellow ones and red ones and everything, but I got the clear ones, and they block
Okay.
at least 30% of the blue light, right? And
Yeah.
it affects your sleep. It affects your appetites. It really plays havoc on the human body when you're constantly getting this blue light.
And we are in constant onslaught of it now, aren't we? The more technology there is, the more blue light there is.
Right.
Of course,
I'm surprised we're not actually suffering from some medical ailment because of it.
We are.
Yeah.
Like
I think we
literally
are.
over everything else.
Could you just
Making
put
us
that on
unhealthy
from
for sure.
Gary?
Maybe they could make a
Gary
vax for it. Who knows? You know.
Yeah.
They wouldn't, because
that's why I've been struggling to sleep lately.
well, it
It
does
could
affect.
be.
Yeah,
That
it does
explains
affect
a lot.
It does affect your sleep, definitely.
Yeah.
Because naturally, your body wants the sunlight for whatever hours a day, and then it to go dark, which signals your brain that it's time for sleeping. But we're subjecting ourselves to blue light most of the night. Our body doesn't know what to do.
I don't know about you, but I don't use those energy saving bulbs anymore. I just have a normal traditional bulb.
Why is
So I
that?
found those were imposing on my eyes after a while.
All right. Okay.
Now I know there's a science out there that explains why. I just didn't need it because I knew it was affecting me.
Right.
Yeah, literally irritated by the fact the goddamn light's on.
Oh wow, is that true, James? I can do that without through the monitor. Oh, I didn't know that. I'll Google that later. Thanks, mate.
Yes, yes, I think JPM's right. There are certain options on certain devices which allow you to do that.
Yeah,
Monitors,
I
I believe,
definitely want to do that.
decent ones anyway.
Yep. I mean, if
Yeah,
you can
hello
do
King
that,
says that's because we don't recognise the English royals up here. Yeah, damn right. Because you, if I'm right, Outlaw King, you're on Roman law. The blue lights have done it for me, Kim.
Yeah, sorry. Sing to the kids. See, I just turn the brightness and everything down after a certain point.
I put mine on night mode.
You know, if you can do a
Yeah.
little thing to help your health, why not? You know, to improve your health. It's just a simple little thing. Why not?
Oh, yep, the dog showed up and so my neighbours. Sorry about the noise in the background.
Most monitors allow it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, I'm not using a monitor, I'm using a TV, but...
Well, it won't be long at this rate before we're all fucking sitting around candlelight.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I have seen
we gonna
a future. I've seen a future, right, where people, certain amount of people, go, no more technology.
Yeah.
You know, and they like say, right, we're gonna have this area of this country, and we're gonna not have any technology. Or only a certain level of technology, because I suppose a pick or a hammer is technology, isn't it?
And also medicines and medication.
Yes, you know, there's a certain level of technology which is, should I use a word of now? Sustainable.
Right.
I think everything, I was listening to something else last night and I've been thinking this for a while now. Like with such a throwaway nation now, where everything's cheaper to replace it than fix and mend it. And
Well, yes, they've proved that,
it
haven't they?
has to be like that with every aspect. Not just with things we own. It's like,
Well,
people probably don't even put as much effort into relationships anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we can throw the law away now, can't we? You know?
I've just had
they
a
make
horrible
things to
thought.
break.
Yeah, if we end up with no electricity, that means no internet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that means I'm going to have to. That means I'll have to talk to people.
Yes, Graham, unfortunately, yes.
I mean, real people, not people.
No,
on
no.
Well, I
You-
mean,
you
we could
never
go
have
down
to
the
go
route
that
of actually
far.
building a mechanical computer, which
Yeah.
we could have done, and it should have happened over like 100 odd years ago.
Guys, you know you can get like big, huge power banks, but they're not. I mean, big, huge in capacity, but they're small enough, right? And you can charge them with solar power even in winter. And also you can get satellite internet, which is really good. Just as maybe not just as good, but I have satellite internet because of where I am, and I have never any problems with the internet, right? So with the satellite internet, I can plug that into the power bank, which is solar powered, right? And also because it's a 1,200 watt power bank and it's the size of a little bit bigger than a car
The
battery,
whole
I
babbage,
can
yeah.
run my PC and my internet off it for a couple of hours.
JPM knows what I'm talking about. The difference engine.
You can always have internet, like
Exactly. I mean, like I say, there's a certain level of technology which is acceptable, and then there's what they're doing now and where we're
Guys,
going.
I'm going to have to jump off. I've got a few real life things to sort out. So I'll catch you later. It's been a pleasure speaking to you all, as always. And if
too,
you're
Graham.
around,
Yeah, always is, Grim.
here's a plug for tonight's show, 7:15 onwards, the last of Oktoberfest.
Awesome.
So
Be there.
I
Be
shall
square.
see you later with a little bit of luck. In the
See you
meantime,
later, Grim.
guys,
Have a good
take
afternoon,
care and
Grim.
stay safe.
Happy
Bye.
Halloween.
Oh,
crap.
absolutely. Don't you mean anniversary? See you later, guys. Bye.
See you
See ya.
later. Oh crap! Nude Guru is onto me.
Grim's
You see that?
I was
getting
gonna
prepped in
ask you,
advance for
actually, if we've got-
Halloween.
Sorry.
I said Grim's getting prepped in advance for Halloween to go and
Yeah, I
collect
think Grim's
everyone's
already
souls.
prepped for Halloween, isn't he? He's got his scythe and his cloak.
Yeah. Grim, go after the people who give out apples to the kids. Mini Mars bars or mini Snickers, or go home.
I did
Okay.
see something with this blackout stuff, though, and I am going to say it was in the Scummy Sun. So the probably chat a lot of shit anyway, but it was saying, about the gas prices and everything going up, and if there's a shortage of that, then everyone's going to be reliant on electric more. So there could be possible 3-hour blackouts and put into place for for each area at some point through winter. And I thought, you're just wanting to fuck everyone over even more if you even do that.
Well, what I think that is, is it's just acceptance by us again. Consent by us. If we don't oppose it, they're just going to keep doing it. And they're going to be like, the elites are going to be sitting in their houses, probably not even reliant on that system. They're going to have generators, and they're just going to be laughing at us.
Yeah, definitely. Those sort of
I
things.
swear that's what some of them do. They just literally rub their hands together. Look at these fucking slaves.
Well, the heads of the political parties here, right? They get paid €750 a day. It's around, say, 700, maybe less than 700 English pounds a day, right? And they're telling people that they have to tighten their belts in the new economy. What would they know about it? What would they know about any of that? What would they know about single parents struggling to get their kids uniforms and school books and school supplies and transport fees and huge electrical bills and rent bills? They know nothing about that. But they'll tell you, tighten your belts. You have to tighten your belts this winter. Try to tell your kids there's no dinner tonight because you can't afford it. On £750 euro a day. The fuck? And one of the excuses for why they get paid so much is that if you pay them less, it gives them an excuse to become corrupt and do under the table deals and such. What sort of world?
James.
Because that's all they goddamn do. these politicians. They do under the table deals.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Even
they don't even
lobbying
do their
is
job.
almost an over the table, under the table deal.
Yeah, they don't even do their jobs. They have advisors who tell them what to do. So why are
Yeah,
we employing
look
them?
at
They're just
Boris.
puppets.
I did this because I was advised.
Yes,
And
it's
then when he
fine.
goes against his advisors,
Why don't we just employ the advisors and take away the puppets? You know,
yeah, they're advisors. You don't have to do what they say.
right? They're like just a face for people to vote for. You're more likely to vote for this guy for this reason, and his 10 advisors will tell him what to do.
Oh God, somebody went. John Tracy just mentioned Rishi. Oh no.
Well,
Sorry,
no, he
Ada.
wouldn't, would he? His wife is one of the richest women in the country.
Yeah, actually, Rishi owns more money than the king right now, and she's got more than him. And he has decided not to raise benefits up to the state of the inflation. So how nice of him to do that for people. So
Yeah,
it's only the poor who lose out there through that,
it's always been like that.
or the poorest. Although there are people who aren't even on benefits, we forget about them, don't we?
Yeah,
And
that's true.
and they don't have a job, obviously. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
How many people living on the streets do you think are there by choice?
In the beginning, maybe not their choice, but to stay there, maybe not their choice. But in the end, it becomes a bit of a choice, doesn't it? It also becomes an indoctrination into a system that they don't probably have any idea to get out of as well.
Well, yeah, can they go somewhere and get a house and get what you call it, universal allowance? What do you call
Credit,
it?
yeah.
Universal credit, so they can just go say, I don't want to live on the street anymore. Give me a house, give me universal credit, and problem solved. No, right?
It's probably
I
not
did
that
that for
easy now
somebody.
because yeah.
I think
I
it's
did that for
impossible.
somebody on the street. I got them a house or a flat.
Oh, nice one.
I got them on benefits, and I was actually kicked out of the benefits office for being with him at the time.
Damn.
You know, what do you mean I can't come in? Are you making a claim? No. Then get out. And it was like, oh, okay. As long as you sort
Again,
it out.
I'd say it goes back to like what conditioning you've become accustomed to being on the streets to start with, because some people just can't make that adapt to that change of,
Well,
being outside and then being like inside the home.
Yeah.
the person I helped was basically on the streets because he was completely anti-establishment. Completely. Like hating the system and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, he was offered a hostel through the government. But that hostel was in Birmingham, the closest one, and we live in Stafford, and it's people he knows live in Stafford, and that's where he wanted to be. So taking him off to Birmingham and having him walk around Birmingham was not his plan. So that was the only offer made to him. The only way he actually sorted himself out every time was to get arrested for something and go into prison for a short time.
Bed and breakfast.
Bed, breakfast. He'd have to have a shave. Shower. Yeah. I actually I took him in for a night. I washed his clothes. I let him use my bath, and I had to wash those clothes 3 times.
Damn. Like, nice one for doing that.
Yeah, he had a flat for 2 years, but then the armed police ended up arresting him for getting involved with some stupid fucking idiotic shit.
Right.
And he lost it.
A lot of these people have mental health issues as well. So
Absolutely. And that comes from actually being on the street as well.
right.
Yeah, and the treatment that they get by others.
Yeah.
Not everyone is nice.
Don't know how many
No,
times my
Well,
friend has
on
been
streets,
beaten up
yeah.
by,
Yeah, it's dangerous.
some people coming home from the pub, gang of lads. Oh, look, we kicked the shit out of this knobhead. What's he going to
Yeah.
do?
It's dangerous on the street, really.
I mean, what are you going to do as a homeless guy? Go to the police station all battered and go, I've just been beaten up. What are the police going to bother?
Right.
Police would probably be more interested in
What they can have
wherever
him
they
for?
were to start with, yeah,
Yeah, what? So you were causing problems, were you?
and get them to move on.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Also,
you're
it's kinda hard to prove.
pestering him for money, eh? Well, I mean, being homeless nowadays, you're actually committing a crime. It's an act and statute that they created where they can actually imprison you for a certain amount of time. Is it 3 weeks? Something silly
For
like
being
that. They can
homeless.
literally say, yeah, being homeless, they can fine you quite a lot of money.
Hey, Rastarov.
I think it's up to
How can you get
£10,000.
fined for being
Or
homeless?
£2,000. Yeah, I know. Yeah, let me look it up. I'm sure it's an actual acting statute now.
You got some good people in chat, Anne Marie. I will never conform. Purple Spliff.
Yeah, sorry, hello to everyone that's come in as well.
Rights Defender. H.C. James. John Tracy. Peter Pope.
Yeah, James, you can come on.
That's our people right there. Those people in chat. They make all this possible, right, guys?
See, I'd like to do something, going through human rights and stuff at some point. I'm sure there's a lot. Well, I know there's a lot I'd still need to learn myself with that one. So why not, learn at the same time as sharing the information?
UK
It's
Transparency says it's been repelled. SG vacancy.
Oh, has it?
Hi,
It was under
James.
the
Good evening.
Vagrancy Act 1824 and Antisocial Behaviour Crime and Policing Act 2014 as rough sleeping, and such as begging, street drinking, and antisocial behaviour.
Believe it or not, if you're in a car park and even if you're not even homeless and you go up to somebody and ask them for a quid for the meter, you can be legally still, even now, be arrested for it. It's strange, but yeah.
Can't you change that as king?
I didn't know it had been changed.
Pardon? Say that
Sorry.
again.
Yeah, sorry, Puto, I didn't actually hear exactly what you said.
Oh, sorry. I know. I was just asking King James. Can't he change that as king?
Well, I'm hoping one day I can. That's the general idea. Although Charles might not like that idea, but oh well. Cousins wars and all that.
I think you could take him. Let's set up a 1v1.
All we have to do is rip up a piece of paper that's been stuck in Parliament for 300 years. It's called the Act of Settlement. The one that bans Catholics. Aye.
Oh yeah, damn it! I've been using my wrong avatar. This is my old one. I decided that I shouldn't probably use that anymore because it's probably a copyright issue thing.
It looks like a parody to me.
That's me. I know it's more ugly, but
I think everyone knows you by the other one, though, don't they, as well?
yeah. It just takes time to change it over,
I think it's. I just even thought, I've changed the avatar on the channel. I haven't changed it on StreamYards.
Peekaboo!
Like this one, I can move. Look, when I disagree. Right? Can you see that?
Okay.
No, it's not changing.
Oh, it's not changing.
No, you need to click OK.
All right.
There we go.
I did it because I don't like when I'm in a certain position and it looks like I'm looking off screen, like I don't care about the panelists. The other panelists.
Mine's my pyramid there is off the back cover of an Iron Maiden album called Somewhere in Time, but it's reminds me of Power Slave, that album. The Egyptian theme. Funny that they called it Power Slave, isn't it?
Yeah.
What in the sweet corn is that?
I've just corn bombed Anne-Marie.
Corn bombed. Oh my
Big
god.
corn bomb, Anne-Marie.
Anne-Marie, come on, come on. You know that's funny, right? Come on. Anne-Marie.
You're muted, Anne-Marie.
Hi.
Maybe she just popped away for a minute.
I think she was a bit
I
corned off.
never forget Susan.
I think she was a bit corned off.
Sorry, I was changing the avatar.
Corn bombed you, Anne-Marie. Corn bomber.
But I'm going to have to go though. So thanks everyone. Always a pleasure.
Pleasure talking to you, mate.
Peace,
It's nice to see you back on panels, SG.
here and there, you know.
Well, it's the
No
first
worries,
time
but
I've spoke to you, SG, so nice to meet you.
I thought I have spoken to you once before.
I can't remember.
It's all right, but yeah, always a pleasure. No worries.
Still nice
Thanks,
to
peeps.
say hello.
Peace.
Thanks for jumping on, SG.
I was listening and there was some good conversation going on here, Anne-Marie. So I just thought I'd say hello.
Well, it makes a change from all the shit I chat usually, doesn't it?
I don't know, you know. It depends what the community says.
Anne-Marie, look at that. Susan just broke my heart. I don't love him anymore. Whoa.
Oh, a broken heart even came with the ringtone. It went ding.
I didn't forget you. You're unforgettable, Susan. Sorry,
and they called it Puppy Love. Don't ask me why Tony Osmond just came into the head, man.
I thought you was actually going to break out and sing with Unforgettable, man. If you just saying it.
Oh, bad. My apologies. I'm in a good mood, you see. I found a nugget, a green nugget, and I'm happy. So happy.
What metal detecting is it?
No. The other kind of green nugget, the Christmas tree kind.
Oh, green nugget. Oh, nice. Very nice.
I was cleaning my house, and you know, it's what you find when you clean it up.
What a lovely surprise. I'm off to clean my house.
I was listening to about the conversation about electricity, right? Right? Can we get back on, like, talk a bit more about that subject, right? Because
sure.
I don't think the people can handle this fucking constant threat about electricity prices and gas prices, right? Either tell us or don't leave us in the middle. Not fucking.
Hey, Dada.
Yeah, it's crazy prices, like, and they're gonna have cuts and stuff. Well, why instead of doing all that, why don't they invest in giving people really good grants for solar power and get everybody solar powered up? Get all the roofs solar powered, right? Then we don't have to worry about any of that. And
I was reading what's that fella's name? Nude Girl's comments in there about a little generator that he's designed.
Oh, nice, cool.
If we were able to use solar power to a certain extent, we could use solar power to power a turbine, which in turn.
Well, I've actually got one. It's on its way to me, right? So it's a power bank.
Aye.
Right. So you don't need to put fuel in it. Like it doesn't make electricity. It just holds it. So you can attach a solar panel to it, which comes with it, right? And you can run like one of the guys put in his review, and he was able to run a freezer off it for like 6 hours, and it wasn't even half.
I've been seeing these different kinds of videos of people running these kinds of successful science experiments, and they look like the results are promising.
Yeah, definitely work.
I seen a video the other day. This fellow was this chap on YouTube. He was able to power a laptop from fire, from a barbecue, basically.
Really?
Aye.
I think I've seen a video where he's made a way of heating hot water and a way of charging devices from
Aye.
other stuff. And I think it's a Canadian.
The guy's a really popular YouTuber anyway. He's got like millions of subscribers and stuff like that. So, you know.
I can't think what his channel. I know he's got Canadian in his title. But yeah, he went through like a rundown of all stuff that you could do and that you'd need.
You see, Nude Guru's got a very interesting suggestion of using an air tank for a big battery, you know, for your battery needs, and instead of lithium. He claims it'd be much cheaper, much more durable, much more robust, and then use the compressed air to run a micro hydro turbine, then use a few lithium batteries for stable voltage.
Right.
That's kind of interesting.
Lithium is on its way out now, to be fair, because now they're using something called, wait, let me look it up.
Is it, cobalt? Is it cobalt or?
No, LiFePO4.
LiPo, oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Wait, let me put it in the chat so anybody can look it up. So this is the next gen to lithium.
LiFePO4 battery. Let's have a look. Let me look at the chemical composition. Oh, lithium ion.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it's made. I don't really know.
Lithium iron phosphate. Oh my days, phosphate.
Are you be?
Phosphate is really, really dangerous.
Ben, on your right.
It is, isn't it? All right, Bear. How's it going, mate?
Big up, Bear.
What's going on?
How you
You all
doing?
good?
Yeah, we're talking electricity.
How joyful. It costs a fucking fortune.
We're brainstorming ways of where we could actually like generate this shit ourselves instead of relying on fucking on-grid energy.
Right. Rasta Ralph says it's nuclear.
Phosphate is nuclear.
James says hemp batteries are the future.
What's people, and you might have already spoke about this, I don't know. What's people's opinion on nuclear power?
I think it's dirty. It's too dirty to use for sustainable futures. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know much about it. What seems to be the issue with it? Like, where do they dump the waste? Is that the issue with nuclear power?
I think that's the biggest issue is the waste disposal, because you can't really dispose of nuclear material. It's got to be stored in canisters and buried, realistically.
We could store it in number 10 because there's never really anybody there.
There's an idea.
I don't think we're allowed to do that. I think they'd be fucking banging down our doors calling us terrorists. I don't think people want that label.
Sorry,
Food tour is going to be like the new modern age Guy Fawkes.
Let's go! Yeah. Power to the people.
Trust me, lads. They tried that once before. Look what happened.
Oh yeah. Some
twat fucking grassed them up.
Yeah.
So we get November the 5th every year, so you'll definitely go down in history, Food Toy. I'll have to give a date for you, mate.
They've suspended the fucking November the 5th firework displays around there where we live. Not doing them no more.
Well, it's law now. You can't, or what?
No, they're just not paying for it. Oh, all right.
They used to pay for it. Wow, that's good. They didn't over here.
Yeah, wouldn't the councils? They come out the council's budget for the firework display.
Come on, guys. People enjoy fireworks. They don't invest in anything people enjoy anymore. People aren't allowed to enjoy nothing anymore. Remember, fuck's sake.
Anything that
Yeah,
makes
but then
you happy.
it's putting it, people buying them out the shop. It's putting more people in danger. That just that, with people acting like fucking idiots with them.
Losing fingers.
What
and
had
shit.
you had? What had you had? Kids in the street setting them off,
To be fair, as a
literally
kid, you
outside
do
their
do some
house.
crazy stuff. I remember as kids, right? Well, I wouldn't say kids. We were like, early teenage years. We used to go buy these rockets and used to get like, I don't know, 10 in a pack. But there was like 2 packs for like quite cheap. And we used to like end up in 2 teams, go to this big park, right? And we used to like, one would go down one side of the park, we'd go down the other. We'd just fire rockets at each other. I'm thinking of it now, that's just dumb.
Like
Proper
a bit of
dumb,
pipe,
yeah?
right? Yeah, a
Bro,
bit
I
of
swear to
pipe,
God, we
right?
used to just light fireworks, man. Aim them towards the other side of the park. Just fucking fire at each other. Get behind a tree and something, and hope one don't hit you. Still
Did you
kind of
ever
crazy
make
shit we used to do as kids.
Did you ever make copper bombs when you were a kid? Like a bit of copper pipe, and you'd pin a hole in. Do you remember the bangers, the roll of caps
Yeah.
that you used to put in
Yeah.
toy guns. So you
Yeah,
put
I know what you're on about.
pinhole. You put a pinhole in each cap, right, and then you stick it into like 10 of them inside a copper pipe. Make the 2 ends airtight and put it on a fire, and there'd be like a huge explosion. Like
That
Yeah.
like I've seen that like on your live stream setting fireworks off, and I'm like almost don't want to look because I can just imagine something that bad's happening, especially when I'm fucking holding it. It's like,
bad for
oh my god.
Animals.
Like
hate
those Roman candles, we used to just hold them, man. Those Roman candles, light them.
They were dangerous, though, Roman candles. Jesus.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Do dumb shit as kids, don't you?
Yeah.
Got no fear of you as a kid. You don't really acknowledge fear properly, I don't think. Well, I didn't anyway.
Wow. This is. I've just been looking at something right that somebody mentioned in the comments. Apparently they're making hemp batteries. Like
Yeah, I've never
batteries.
heard of them until they've just been said in the chat.
I've just done a quick look through it, and there is some articles about it.
That's awesome. Like hemp is used for so many things, like for clothes, for fuel, for a load of things. Jesus.
Now
But
imagine
no,
a solar battery
it's
powered
illegal.
array made from hemp batteries, which is, according to what I'm reading, they're 8 times better and last longer than lithium.
Nice. Yeah, lithium's on its way out, I think. But if every roof, right, every roof of every company in every house was solar paneled up, we wouldn't have an issue. There would not be an issue.
Like Nikola Tesla back in the day, he came up. I did a lot of reading about him and read his patents and stuff, his designs and stuff, for alternating current and stuff like that. He created this tower called Warden Cliff, yeah?
Right.
And this tower was able to broadcast power wirelessly in such a way that it would turn on, say, for example, them neon tubes that you used to get in the kitchen back in the day.
Yeah.
When the powder or whatever inside ran out, it's still power on without even being connected to terminals or wires. It was complete wireless transmission of power.
That's awesome. He was a genius, that bloke. He really was a genius.
And the patent for these towers, he submitted the patents. They got registered. And they did actually have a working tower. And it's still there now, bits of it. It was demolished, but I reckon if we could combine that, right, with, say, like a direct constant access to the sun, solar, like, say, like a Warden Cliff station just outside the atmosphere, you could, in theory, beam that power back down to the earth.
Be amazing, wouldn't it?
Or you could even put wireless power outside the atmosphere. Now imagine that. Wireless electricity outside the atmosphere.
Sorry to be a killjoy, but you could also get fucking assassinated for even fucking inventing such a thing.
Yeah.
Well, I just did. There you go. I just did.
Don't mean to be a killjoy, just saying, like, you know.
I'll reverse that. But that's a very, very good idea, you know. And then put all that power in some hemp batteries, and then you're good to go in the RV for at least 6 months without a new battery. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the most.
Well, get on it.
I think that's the most expensive part of an electric car, isn't it? The battery, and it
Aye.
can go. So you have to buy a battery of £10,000 every couple of years or something.
Aye.
I think just going off topic, reading Susan's thing, just anyone who's going anywhere near fireworks, just try and be careful.
Well, don't remind me about them. I got chased by a chicken chaser once. Most frightening experience of my life. I thought there was a firework up my arse.
Yeah, if you've had a bad experience with them, you ain't gonna like them, are you?
I don't mind them. I don't mind them nowadays, but don't come near me with a chicken chaser if you want to live.
Animals hate them. The animals and
I sympathise with them completely. I understand it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just animals, is it? You know, people with PTSD or anything, it can affect them as well. So
I get that, but like, don't you think people are a bit over the top with fireworks these days? Like, oh no, the animals. Oh no, PTSD. Like, you know, it's like, again, let's fucking crush tradition. Another thing, let's crush the British tradition once again. You know, like.
No, because I think it's nice to have the fireworks, but I think it should be more unorganised display, not like be sold for anyone to buy them and set them off. And you know, kids set them off outside shops, so they go into shops, and you know, like kids here, they were setting them off and they could have shot into someone's house.
Well,
like they were that close.
Do you think if you restrict fireworks, do you think that will stop kids from getting them?
No, because
or will they try
because the
harder to
parents
get
will
them?
buy them and go, we are.
So
Yeah,
why
they'll
should
be like-
everybody else suffer? You know, like not have the firework enjoyment because of people who, let's say, not as responsible as they should be. You know?
Yeah, photos that did say PTSD.
What do you reckon?
Somebody wants to know, can you get silent fireworks? I don't know if you can. Is that a thing?
I think you know. Can you? I think I don't know. Actually, that might be a thing. You know, these days. I'm not gonna lie. That might be a feasible thing.
Gunpowder. I think it's the gunpowder thing, fireworks, right? So there's got to be the noise.
Aren't the more silent ones, the ones that like do a whistle noise going up and then bang?
Oh yeah.
The problem I have is like people that want to go letting them off at times when they shouldn't. You know, I've been hearing fireworks now for the last couple of weeks. People letting them off, and at like ridiculous times as well.
Right.
Oh crap, Susan!
So I think that there should be a bit more regulations around that, maybe.
Yeah. Was that an organised display?
Hey Susan, you should have got a payout then if it was at an organised thing. You should have got a payout, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
10 grand, 10 grand plus.
Yeah, but PBA point about like a lot of traditions are being brushed aside and being taken away as things like we grew up with, you know.
I know, which was never an issue for all those years, but now all of a sudden it is.
Yeah, but then again,
the snowflake act. We go where we fall back to that snowflake act a little bit, don't we?
Yeah,
we're currently governed by a bunch of snowflakes. That's a good thing. No, it's not.
I was laughing listening to that snowflake act.
Yeah,
I know, because it rang so fucking true. That's why you can just imagine it, couldn't you? And everyone can almost relate to it, even. That's scary.
Wait, Jerry.
That's a good.
You need nuclear fission reactors and not nuclear fission. What?
Aye, fission, nuclear fission is. I think isn't that like cold-based nuclear stuff? Not because fusion would be hot, wouldn't it? Because you're fusing it together at hot temperatures.
Yeah, I know nothing about it. I don't know the difference at all.
I was gonna say, I have no idea what he's on about with that one.
That's it. That's a good.
Fission or fusion?
So it's splitting a cell, isn't it? Splitting
Splitting the atom is fusion.
splitting the atom is right. So what's the other way? I didn't know there was another way.
All
I know is
I'm going to fact check myself.
yeah, all I know is you shouldn't hire Homer Simpson to work in your nuclear factory.
There's been Diwali, hasn't there? All right, that would explain the fireworks then. Diwali. Forgot about that.
Nuclear fission is a nuclear reaction in which heavy nucleus splits cells spontaneously or an impact with another particle with the release of energy. That's not explaining what I wanted to say. Sorry.
Jerry
It's all good
said,
on it until there's a
"Oh,
nuclear disaster, though. Then we're all fucked.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Nuclear fission is a reaction in which the nucleus of an atom splits into two or more smaller nuclei. So it splits down the atom. It breaks it down. So nuclear fusion, it combines it together, doesn't it?
Right. Jerry says, yes, cold, safe, no hazardous waste. Well, that's good. If there's no hazardous waste and it's safe, that's fucking good.
There.
Which one is that, Jerry? Which is the good one?
Fission. Nuclear fission.
Awesome.
But yet, either one of those technologies, none of us, ordinary people, are allowed to touch.
It's how you make a bomb. No shit.
Well, obviously, Raw Gamers tried, doesn't it? But failed.
Maybe only on
Because
COD.
it's still on YouTube now.
Are all you guys sub to the Nutter channel?
Aye.
I enjoy that channel.
Yes,
He's
not
a nice guy. The Nutter.
Yeah, he persuaded me to sub. I'm joking. Big up, Nutter.
I'm still determined to see Nutter get to
And
1,000 and get him drinking this bloody green tea.
Yeah. Well, guys, get him to 1,000, please.
Nah, if he gets
I'm
to
400
1,000, I
away
want to
from
see him
1,000.
drink some of that fish tank water.
Ah,
green
no, that's
tea.
Oh God, no!
Are you trying to
Yeah,
kill him?
he's got to drink.
No,
he's
he's
got to drink a
adamant
pint.
he doesn't like green tea,
pint.
even though he's not drunk it. I don't think.
Oh,
But he's
Yeah,
got a box
so-
of it.
So have your green tea with your fucking fish tank water. Be nice,
Don't
man.
Don't forget the honey. You need honey in there as well.
Rasta,
Be
you'll
nice.
have to explain that one. Rasta
then-
says bananas are nuclear.
What?
Not sure if he's messing about or it's some
No,
sort of...
don't ignore
Well,
my
half of us
comment.
have been
mate.
eating them
I'm gonna
most of
drink
our
the fish
lives.
tank water or what? No, go on. Drink your fish tank water, and I'll go out and get you 1,000 subs on foot right now. I'll approach
I
1,000 people and make sure
wouldn't-
they all subscribe to the Nutter channel.
There's no point having 1,000 subs if you're poisoned.
Yeah, it'd be all right, wouldn't he? Man up.
Make him very ill. It might even kill him.
That'd
You
be
get a
funny
sore
to watch.
throat at the very least.
Britain's trying to kill off fucking Nutter. What's this Brookside? Oh, bloody hell. Coronation Street Live.
He says he doesn't like green tea, yeah, which tells me he's already tried it. So whether he likes it or not, he's kind of already got an experience of what the tastes like. He won't have any experience of what that fish tank water's like. I think that's more of a challenge.
No, because when green tea first got mentioned, Nutter was under the impression that it was actually the colour green. So I don't think he's ever had it.
If you have it in a green mug, it'll look green.
Right, so Outlaw King says fusion is only explosive depending on the fuel source. Is that where the banana comes in? Bananas are safe.
Apparently, bananas
Potassium
have
is in
potassium
bananas.
and it's radioactive. Sorry.
Wow, I didn't know that, Rasta.
Neither did I. I feel like Homer Simpson right now.
Do you know? I think in fire alarms, don't they have a little bit of nuclear stuff? That's how the fire alarm actually works.
Yeah, same with the microwave.
Right.
every microwave, believe it or not, this is why Russia banned them, because the mini nuclear weapons. That's the thing.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong in one of them, boom, you're fucked. Because the core inside it, because I've took them apart before to just have a look at what's inside them, and they have these black metal, like it looks like metal, but it's not. It's like a black ceramic, but that's a radioactive element.
King wants you to look at this comment, I think, Futoy.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out, is it that one he meant?
Fusion using thorium.
Right, not really to what? Let me scroll up a little bit more.
So, in theory, we could make nuclear reactors based on thorium and not plutonium or uranium. I don't know why they fucking use the fucking highest element on the fucking periodic table anyway. It's fucking stupid.
Probably because it's like 2p cheaper.
Probably. And they got a discount on bulk buy. You have to use the Walmart card somehow.
How did we get from power cuts to reactors and
Well, at least we're looking at the whole subject, aren't we? It's educational. I'm learning stuff here.
Me too.
Fucking
Be
love it.
careful. You've also got people in fucking like Gamer in the chat that would be sat there now trying to make a bomb in his bedroom.
I'm sure, like we got the security services to handle it. They'll be there soon.
A banana bomb to take to you.
5 minutes time.
He's got to have something to use in Ukraine.
Shall I just send him? He'll do. Oh, what a day.
Outlaw, you're well up on this information. Also, Jerry.
Aye. We got no. It's good to see that there are other people out there with brains that work. I feel great now. I don't feel alone.
Right.
Exactly, mate. It doesn't take much to convert them. Plus, thorium can be mined at a much lower cost. But at the moment, most plutonium is recycled warheads. I guess.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Recycling warheads.
That's
a good thing, I guess. Is it?
No.
Well, it's better than them having warheads, right? Take away their warheads.
I just take away the fucking warhead, innit? Simple. Or better yet, just stop building them. Just stop building them.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
There's no need.
Yeah, it's so stupid as well. I
mean, obviously, if you're building them, you don't trust your neighbours, do you? And yet, half of us are foreign descended ourselves, so.
Yeah. And how is America using the nuclear bombs in Japan not war crimes? Because they were innocent people. They weren't war targets. They were just.
That was the very first thing I learned about.
Right.
Very first thing I ever learned about was Hiroshima.
Yeah, it's like a serious war crimes. Like women, children, babies, pregnant women.
People who didn't deserve it. And yet, for hundreds of years, they've still been feeling the effects.
Yeah, absolutely. Has to be a war crime.
And yet, they try and claim Putin is a war criminal just because he wants fucking
to do the same
part of his country back.
That Putin, though, is a piece of work, though.
They're all pricks, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, yeah. Absolutely. They call them the 1%, but the pricks would be a better name.
You know, at the moment, Rishi's fucking richer than half of these cunts.
Right.
I guess he's the top 1%.
Right.
You're a bit quiet there, Bear Button.
Putin's richest.
Yeah, I was just thinking about telling Gamer to stick his head in one of those 27 microwaves and fucking turn the fucker on.
Oh no, you can't do that, mate.
Yeah, I
You
know.
can't
That's
do
why.
it. Oh.
I know.
You
He
know
might
what
actually
still-
do it. I know he might actually do it.
Yeah, don't be saying shit like that. Fuck's
Yeah,
sake.
yeah, that's a bit.
I'm on a panel.
I'm not part of that. But good job. There's a legal disclaimer right on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah. Did any of you guys remember that? Was it Nokia ad where the phone would ring and they'd always say where they are? Remember that ad? No.
No,
No idea, no.
Jeez, how old am I?
I don't know. How old are you?
Ah, really? I feel really old.
You don't have to answer that question, mate. The less people know, the better.
Early 40s.
Well, now you've just narrowed it down.
panel.
You've just given them a profile. They're not looking for a man in the 40s.
They can look. I mean,
You ever seen that film, Enemy of the State?
I've heard of it. I'm not sure if I've seen it or not. Can't remember.
It's a pretty interesting film. It weirdly enough, it's based around modern day today. Like, and there's this kid, this computer kid. He makes a program or something. He gets hold of a program, and the intelligence agency in America are after him.
Oh yeah, he hacks the system, doesn't he? The nuclear bomb system or something, right?
Something. I'd have to have a Google of it, but he was able to hide it in a Game Boy. I thought that was fucking brilliant. I thought, oh yeah, brilliant, mate. Just
Genius.
genius. No one's gonna find it in there. Like, who's gonna think the football's a Game Boy?
Right.
Wow. Those are good-
Outlaw
good
King says it
quality
was
films.
a book by Tom Clancy turned into a film.
Let's have a look.
Will Smith? James?
Yeah, Will Smith was in it. That's it. A corrupt NSA official had a congressman assassinated to assure the passage of expansive new surveillance legislation. When he got hold of a videotape of it happening. That's what it is in the film. So this hacker kid got a video, right, and it was proved that somebody high up did something naughty, right? Bit similar to modern day, innit? Certain parallels with certain people in high places, and so they sent loads of people after him. He hides it in the fucking Game Boy and then puts it in Will Smith's bag. Poor Will Smith has to deal with it.
Right.
But it's a pretty good film.
Yeah, I might give it a watch actually. If I can find it somewhere.
There's ways and means.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got a copy of the DVD, you can download it legally, I think.
Yeah, it's probably actually really cheap. Probably like a couple of quid on Amazon. You can get some really cheap films like on Amazon on DVD. I got some films that were just nostalgic to me as a kid. Blazing Saddles, Time Bandits. That was a real big one for me as a child. Time Bandits.
I like Back to the Future, me.
Yeah, they're all
Great
cool.
Scott, Marty. We're going back to 1985. All right, Doc. That's interesting, though. Right, in Back to the Future, 1985. 1985. What the fuck? I mean, that DeLorean, it was run off fucking plutonium.
Right.
That was strange. That.
How was that strange? How do you mean?
Imagine a vehicle run on that. It'd never run out of power.
Right. Also,
there's an idea. Why don't we take all the warheads, take the plutonium out of it,
put them in DeLoreans?
We can't do that. You know why? Because some dickhead will end up crashing his car and fucking blowing everyone up. I knew there was a punchline there somewhere.
And would it be radioactive? Or what? Am I wrong?
I don't know. Could you make it not radioactive?
I'm not sure if it is. I know nothing about this really. I'm just guessing.
Me neither. That's what I'm asking. Studying, isn't it? You got to learn some things, isn't it?
Right.
But
Yeah.
Jerry says, anyway, back to the topic. Jerry says, but they do not want us to have access to safe, cheap, plentiful energy, as some of their control over the population will be lost.
Right. They lose out a load of money as well.
What do you think about Britain? And Anne-Marie?
We've lost them. They're off conspiring against us, King James.
Or the
We better team up. The right hand side of the panel versus the left.
I better hide under the table then.
You
There's
get
going
Bear.
to be potatoes flying at me.
You get Bear. I'll tackle Anne-Marie. No, listen. I gotta go. I gotta go do a bit of shopping because I won't have anything for dinner for my tea. So it was a real pleasure talking to you guys.
Aye.
Sorry, I was seeing to the kids.
Life.
Right.
Yeah, life still revolves around YouTube.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me up, Anne-Marie. It's a pleasure to be in a panel with you guys, and good to see everybody
Thanks
in
for
chat.
coming on, Fusoy.
Thanks. Talk to you later.
Oh, that's interesting. See you later, Footy. That's interesting, Susan. Susan says, fun fact, the Ford Nucleon is a concept car developed by Ford in 1957, designed as a future nuclear-powered car. That's interesting. So there was car designs. I might have to look at them. It'd be interesting to just look at. Hey, Bear Britain. So, have you been on any audits recently?
Sorry, I keep getting pestered.
It's okay, Anne-Marie.
I actually need to finish this, and
aye. Well, I'm going to hop off anyway, but thanks for letting me on.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on, James.
Aye. See you later, Anne-Marie. See you later, Bear Britain. See you later, everyone.
Are you still there, Bear? I might just have to mute him. Yeah, I'm going to get on with the rest of my day. Well, I'm going to say thank you for everyone that's come and joined live. Yeah, sorry again. Yeah, thank you for everyone that's watched, and I hope you have a good rest of your afternoon. And thank you for Bear and James and Futoy and SJ and Grim for jumping on the panel. And I will probably catch you all later.